we want the people them kind of sit back and listen, because we think that this brethren is a great brethren. Yes. He's the greatest culinary artist I personally know. Yes. The greatest culinary artist I know, and also nutritionist. That means he know what he's doing. Well, you know, I sit down a couple Sundays ago and listen to the brethren talk about food. As a matter of fact, he was actually preparing the food and talking at the same time to tell you what is happening in the food, what is not in the food, how you must do it and everything. That may I tell you. It really was marvelous to the point where I sit down and myself and said, no, I have to really bring the brethren again, because he has been on this program quite a few while, but we say we have to really bring him again, make him really talk to the people. And we don't want to just give him a little one night talk. Because we know that if him talk, it's going to take a whole heap of talk. We want to give him whole heap of time to talk. Aris.
Yes, my brother Muta.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Why haven't I hear you?
Hello? Yes, I'm here.
You was hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah, me can't hear you now. It was a little, I couldn't pick up on everything, but I can hear you now.
Yeah, we just say if the eye, like, we just want to do like a 4-part thing with the eye.
Yes.
And right now, if the eye can really kick we off.
Okay.
With exactly what the eye want to start with, and then we can continue next week and the next week and the next week.
Okay.
All right.
Well, to kick off, we need to first look at the times in which we're living, you know, and to understand that, of course, food itself is been our biggest challenge in this particular time. We see that there's really no real uniformity in how we eat. We've just been going on tradition, customs, habits, and legacies. So now we need to really start consciously putting ourselves in a space where we realize that it is our choice what we put into our system. And when we start, we need to always start with the children. That is always the first base. And it's very interesting. I had a workshop this evening, and someone mentioned about, you know, when I spoke about making milk for children as opposed to using cow's milk to feed our babies cow's milk, to make milk for our children, even if it's just only coconut milk. You know, I get remarks about the time involved in preparing this milk, the cost involved in preparing it. And when you really look at it, and considering these children, our creation, all the effort, all the energy, all the love that goes into bringing them forward, that we now put them in a position where when it comes to buying them clothes, buying them shoes, buying all sort of things for them, we always try to do the best we can and get them something nice. But when it comes to their food, now we don't put the effort, we don't put the energy into it, we don't try to research and even put our money to the level to making sure that they are getting the absolute best that our money can buy. So looking at children's lifestyle, first of all, it is very important to understand that an infant from the birth up to the year 2, this child does not have a digestive system whatsoever. Babies cannot digest any food that is given to them within the first 2 years of their life. So ideally, we want to start them off on the best food available for them, and that is our mother's milk, the breast milk. Ideally, what we're looking at is that the mother needs to digest the food and serve it to the baby in the form of a blood transfusion through the breast. That way, we don't force the child into a position where it has to develop its digestive system prematurely. Because if this digestive system is being fed rice and chicken and bread 1 year old, and it cannot process these foods, well, obviously we see the outcome. We see the runny nose, we see the mucus, we see the cold, we see all the respiratory problems that the child goes through, and of course we see the childhood diseases as well. And these things are basically giving us an early warning signal that what we're doing to this child is not healthy. It is not wholesome. The child is not digesting the food. It is just souring on their system, so they throw it up. They bring it back out in mucus. They have cough. They have headaches, and all of these things, which are basically just signals to let us know what is going on. And then we see the childhood diseases, particularly things like chicken pox. I mean, these things come from toxins within the bloodstream of this child that we've been putting food into the child's system that cannot be processed, that ultimately just decay, it rots, it ferments.
So, Aris,
yes,
you're saying that the mother is the person that is transmitting or transferring this toxin food based on what she eats to the child in the milk?
Well, no, that's if she's breastfeeding and we see this in the child, then yes, she is transferring the toxins from her bloodstream into the child.
Okay.
But if she's not breastfeeding and she's giving the child table food, then this food is being turned into toxins very rapidly because it's not being digested.
Okay, all right. Continue then.
Okay. So, of course, you know, if we're in a position that we can't breastfeed, we want to give the child the best thing that's available to it, and you want to give the child something that is as close to mother's milk as possible in its nutritional quality. So we have big companies out there producing formulas trying to come as close to mother's milk as they possibly can, using lots of chemicals and other elements that are still foreign to the child's body, that the child has to go through a whole nother period of adjustment trying to tolerate the waste that are within these things. We recommend nut milks, seed milks, grain milks, in a way even rice milk, soya milk, making milk from almonds, sesame seeds, even peanut milk is great, coconut milk is excellent. We need to keep in mind that mother's milk only contains 5% protein. So when we give our baby a cow's milk that has about 80% protein, we're giving the child an overdose of protein. So this particular protein from the cow's milk is designed for a calf's body, which could be 300 pounds, 400 pounds. For an infant baby cow to sustain its weight, it needs that type of milk. But to give that to our child, we're giving the baby a lot of glue, a lot of bonding agent. And the primary element in cow's milk, which is known as casein, is the same thing that is found in many glues. They use milk, the cow's milk, to make glue from. So we actually really just gluing the baby's system up with this type of feeding. So we move on from there, and we give the baby the plant-based milks. We give them fresh juices, fruit juices, vegetable juices, liquids that requires no digestion. And then once the digestive system starts to mature, then we can start serving them foods that are easy to digest, such as papayas, apples, pineapple, and then we can start processing greens, whether it's callaloo or spinach or pak choy, chocho, and other light vegetables that are easy for the baby to digest, and start introducing solid food on that level. So otherwise, what we're doing in essence, we're really beginning the disease process from birth when we malnourish our child by trying to force the digestive system to develop prematurely and give it food that it's not capable of processing. And as we grow up now as adults, we're carrying around and living with this faulty digestive system, and we try now to process other foods that are just decaying in the system. So ultimately, we lead to a buildup of waste, toxic waste within the body that leads to a very disease-ridden body. And one of the biggest disease that is so prevalent today in Jamaica, and we see it with our children now at an earlier and earlier stage, is the whole issue of diabetes. And as a matter of fact, I understand that this week is Diabetes Week here. And we need to understand this particular disease, which is primarily caused by eating sugar. All of the bulk syrups that we feed our babies, all of the breads, the cakes, the doughs that are loaded with sugar, it just wreaks havoc on their system, and it sets the basis for this diabetes, which now we understand that, you know, there's this type 1 diabetes that are found in young children, and this is basically the lack of the body to produce insulin in the pancreas. And then now we have the type 2 diabetes that you would find in adults, which begins at around the age 40. And basically what this is, the body has a sensitivity to produce the action of the insulin itself.
All right, Aris, until we come back, I want you to carry the people them through, right, the diabetic phenomena in terms of what the cause is, and carry them through which foods you would say that is responsible for most of the diabetic cause, and how them can eliminate that, you know, build up.
Yes, okay.
Right. This is a cutting edge on RFA. We will talk about now, carry to the people them what is the cause of this thing and how them can go about even preventing it. You know, because prevention is better than to cure.
Okay, the cause that is recognized by most medical authorities for diabetes is the consumption of commercial sugar, the overconsumption of commercial sugar, including, of course, all of the cooked sweets. Also, milk is a factor, cheese, butter, and eggs, fish, and as well as all forms of animal flesh. The best foods to eat for diabetics is greens. Lots of greens, some fresh fruits. And the fresh fruits that are particularly great are apples. The OTET apples has no sugar or very low sugar in it. Grapefruits, oranges, and plums. One of the big things about these particular types of fruits is that they have soluble fiber, and they actually release the sugar in the bloodstream much slower than the other fruits. And of course, we should never leave out coconut water. Coconut water is the perfect juice, the perfect fruit to have to control diabetes. Also, vegetables and all roots, especially in an uncooked form, because once you cook the roots in particular, then it just turns into a very pasty starch that is difficult for the body to break down because the digestive enzymes have been destroyed. And also, one of the things with these particular foods as well is that they should always be eating in a base. When you're eating the sugar, when you're eating the sweet fruits, they should be always be eaten with a base. So the green leafy vegetables is a great base to use with the carbohydrates, with the roots, with the rice, with the potatoes. So it helps the sugar from these foods, because these foods have to be turned into sugar in the body. So once they've been converted into sugar, it has a base to absorb the sugar. So the green leafy vegetables are very, very excellent for this, and we recommend that they're eating right at around noon. And also peanuts is a great base to absorb sugar as well. Just pre-soak the peanuts overnight for 12 hours and just grind them, flake them down, just crush them as best as you can. And for that matter, any other types of nuts are a great base to make.
But peanut is one of the cheaper ones and easily available.
Yes.
So would I stick with the peanut? But tell me something now. All right. You're talking about the base of the food and the carbohydrate being transformed into sugar.
Yes.
All right. So the carbohydrate food is the hard food, them like yam and cocoa and dachin and all these foods.
Yes, and all the grains as well.
Right.
So all the flour products.
All right. So tell me something now. When the vegetable, I know the chemical reaction, the vegetable and the base, as the base and the carbohydrate, when the two of them come together now, what is the chemical reaction that is taking place in the body that causes it now to lessen the chances of becoming sugar, the carbohydrate transforming itself into sugar?
Well, the carbohydrate has to be transformed into sugar for the body to utilize it. But if it doesn't digest, it does not turn into sugar, and it just ferments in the body. It becomes sour in the system, and it creates a situation where we have indigestion. And in that process now, rather than the carbohydrate becoming sugar, it ferments and it actually produces alcohol in the system.
So what the vegetable does to this?
Well, the vegetables creates an alkaline base to absorb the sugar as it is produced from the carbohydrate. So if once the carbohydrate has been converted into sugar, it has the vegetable base, the greens, the cucumbers, the tomatoes, the pak choy, the callaloo, to absorb the sugar. And it makes a tremendous difference because now the sugar is being released at a much slower level, and the body can utilize the sugar. It can burn it up and put it to its better use to create the energy that it needs from it, rather than the sugar rather than it just fermenting on the system and going sour.
All right. People use, all right, you see, some person who eat carbohydrate, and for people who don't know the carbohydrate food is yam and cocoa and dachin and rice and all these things. These are carbohydrate food that turn to sugar. But for people outside there who are say, well, right now, you have to have the protein with the carbohydrate to put him in, to energize him, to strengthen him. Because people are say, to eat carbohydrate and vegetable, because the vegetable is according to them light.
Yes.
It's now going to sustain the energy in the body, because they really need the carbohydrate. That is why most men who work, them prefer heavy food and things. But they know when them eat the carbohydrate, instead of them eat vegetable with the carbohydrate, them actually eat protein, which come out of like the cheese, the fish, the meat, curry goat, all the other meat kind. Them always put it with the carbohydrate, because them say with the protein and the carbohydrate, them need that energy.
Okay.
Is this a mythology, or is it something where people just feel that when them eat this thing, it really works?
No, it's a big mythology, and part of it really, we're talking about the legacy of slavery involved in this as well. Now, protein, all your protein foods are very rich, concentrated foods, and your carbohydrates are very rich, concentrated. They are on opposite ends of the scales. These foods are very low in minerals, and the body needs the minerals to process these foods effectively. So the protein being the animal flesh, the dairy products, the nuts, seeds, the pear, the avocado pear, olives, ackee, coconut. Some beans are very high in protein, like lentils and soybeans, and the peanut as well. Now, these foods, when they come into the body, they require an alkaline medium in which to digest. So, obviously, eating them with foods like the carbohydrate, which in itself, its digestion actually takes place in the mouth. The primary area of the digestion for the carbohydrate, for the starches, for the potato, the rice, the bread, the dough, and all of these things, the pasta, the yam, the dasheen, their digestion takes place primarily in the mouth. So we need to chew them very well, mix them with lots of saliva, so you get the digestive juices that are coming down in with the saliva and breaking the starch down in the mouth, turning it into simple sugar. Now, of course, we know that most of these starches are very pasty. They're very soft, they're very smooth, so they really don't lend themselves well for chewing. So we tend to just swallow them down as whole as possible. So if these are now present in our stomach with protein, so you have potato and curry goat, potato cooked in with the goat, the curry goat is going to take over the digestive system. It commands the digestive system at all times. All the protein pretty much takes the primary digestive juices that are being secreted at this time of favoring the protein, because the body is getting a signal. It is being told that it has protein and carbohydrates in the system at the same time. So it gets confused. It cannot secrete both of the digestive juices because the carbohydrates require an acid medium to digest. Protein require an alkaline medium. So it cannot produce both of those mediums simultaneously. So the protein takes over the digestive system. The carbohydrate, not having been chewed, goes into the system with the protein, and it gets held back.
What I hear you say now is that a whole heap of vegetarians is in problem because the tofu, which is a high protein, high concentrate protein food, and the rice, the brown rice and peas, it come like it will cause the same effect like curry goat and rice.
Yes, well actually we have experienced quite a few vegetarians that are eating in that manner, that are not taking in enough fruits and vegetables, moist foods in their diet to complement these foods. Well, actually, we're coming out of a generation of a lot of obese vegetarians, you know, that have been eating a lot of chunks and tofu, a lot of the imitation texturized vegetable protein, and as you mentioned, eating it with all the carbohydrates, all the bread, the whole wheat
same
bread.
thing. All right, like chunks. There's this popular thing where the 7 day them introduced in the place. This chunk thing. I see a whole heap of like vegetarian eating chunks and green banana and yam and dumpling. Or them have chunks with rice and peas. You say that combination they kinda come same way like mutton and rice and peas.
Well, to a certain extent, but you see the chunks though, the chunks are made from wheat. Most of them are made from wheat, which is still a carbohydrate, but the processing to turn them into the chunks makes them undigestible because it's like rubber. You know, the chunks are come into the system like a tough piece of rubber. And now you're going to add to that a whole lot more carbohydrates and maybe some protein to that. The body has a tremendously difficult time breaking it down.
Enough work.
Yes. So, but ideally, what we want to do is separate our proteins from our carbohydrates. You want to have the protein at one meal and the carbohydrate at a separate meal. And you complement each one of those with all of the green leafy vegetables, the non-starchy and non-protein vegetables like cucumber and tomatoes and celery and pak choy and these things to help to digest the protein or the carbohydrate. But the meal should not consist of more than 25% of protein or carbohydrate, and the other 75% should be of the moist vegetables.
And that again is where I feel vegetarians go bad again because them not eating meat and drinking milk. Them feel say them want more protein and then them get an excess of protein because the bean and the nut that them eating have more concentrated protein than the actual meat itself.
Yes, not only so too, but also the fact that they're cooking it they're cooking the protease out. They're destroying the protease. Protease is a digestive enzyme that breaks down protein. And once you subject it to heat above 125 degrees, you destroy the life force of these proteins, so they're not in a position to help in the digestion of the protein. So after that big heavy cooked meal with all of the beans and the yam and the green banana and everything, you know, the challenge of the miscombination and then the rich protein without any enzymes in it now challenges the body to produce an excessive amount of digestive enzymes in order to break it down. So you'll find after that big heavy meal like that, you tend to want to go to sleep, you know, and you call it some kind of itis.
Nigarytiss.
Yes.
Nigarytiss.
Because what is going on, we have compromised our system and put an extra demand on the body to produce all of this digestive enzyme to break down all of this heavy cooked starches and protein, and we have no lettuce, no tomatoes, no foods that have enzymes in it.
Yeah, you know, when I used to live with my mother, you know, on Sundays, which is that Sunday where we get most of the food, she have the big cracker rice and peas, she have the meat in a one, and then a little plate with lettuce and a little slice of tomato.
Yeah.
And then them throw salt for it, and when we grow up, we don't realize that, but that should be the main dish. That's right. It's the side dish.
That's
the vegetables are the side dish, you know.
Yeah.
And they get the protein and the carbohydrates to eat up. You know?
At least it should be the main dish, but at least that lettuce and tomato or that salad fixing should be at least 25 or at least 20% of the meal. Because that 20% or 25% of the lettuce and the tomato will actually help to digest cooked food. So that's why you see when the Germans invented the hamburger, they put a slice of lettuce, a piece of tomato, onion. They even put pickle in there, which is now has more enzymes. So all of these fresh produce, salad fixings, they're putting in there to actually help digest the steak and the bread. And the same thing when they put it in the sauerkraut. Put the sauerkraut in with the hot dog. So you get that extra boost of enzyme with the fermented cabbage in the sauerkraut to help to digest the tough sausage. So at least, we should at least include 20% raw foods in all of our meals in order to help you to digest the cooked food.
Brethren, we want to give thanks and we want you to tell the people the seminars, workshop where have taken place now, and them know that next week again we're going to go back on the food reasoning and deal with the next aspect, right? Yes,
well, we have seminars that are being taken place at Bob Marley Museum every Wednesday from 6:30 to 8:30. The one that's coming up next Wednesday is on juices and herbal elixirs. So we'll feature the whole world of juicing and tell you what is the best equipment to buy. And also we would do recipes and actually give you samples of the juices. And we will be speaking on digestive care, how to care for your entire digestive system. You can reach us at 944-8209 in order to get further information to register for these particular workshops.
Brethren, give thanks.
Yes, my brother.
This is the Cutting Edge and IRFM coming through.
I want to give thanks being here, you know. Yes, so much things is happening. We are hoping to have a very interesting program tonight. If everything work out fine, you know, that man propose sometimes and Jah dispose, but we hope that he will not dispose tonight. You understand? So, into this program, how much people is interested in what we call now live foods. We're not going to say raw food. It's a term that was usually used, but in this end of this 20th century, you know, we want to say live foods. But there is a book that we used to read it like a Bible. I tell you, it named Survival into the 21st Century. Now, a whole heap of ones know that book, because for those of you who is into food and vegetarianism and fruitarianism and live foods and these things, you will know the name Viktorat Kulvinskas. the man who is responsible for what we would call the Bible of life food doctrine. Yes, I mean, when you read this book, you have it all in terms of what it is supposed to be: protein, wheatgrass, and rejuvenate, and just what them call no holistic living. Well, over the weekend we had the opportunity of meeting the brethren on a program that was in swept away, still going on. It's a raw food. What would I say, party? Because I tell you, I mean, there's so much raw food chefs there that is unbelievable. Lunch, breakfast, dinner, all live foods, nothing cooked. It is good to go to somewhere where you don't have to question what you're eating. I tell you, you don't have to question what you're eating. You know what you're eating because you see it. Well, we are hoping to have Viktorat, Kulvinskas and this program tonight. And we're going to extend it into the survival in the 21st century and beyond. We also want to speak to a brethren we hear talk about a while named Aris. He runs the Sun-fired food programs, where this man is when I tell you that this man is the ultimate culinary artist in terms of live food preparation. He is, without any doubt. The man here feed me from 1982, which we are talking about 18 years now. Anyway, Muta Baruka tour and the man there. I am assured that all my live food preparations will be taken care of. Well, Aris is part of the raw food thing that is going on right now, still going on, living food, culinary showcase at Swept Away. We spent a very long time there looking at preparations and, how to just live a healthy lifestyle. So we want to link up with these ones soon and very soon. This is the cutting edge on RFM.
Yes, my brethren.
All right. Oh, it's Swept Away tonight.
Oh, Swept Away is great, man.
Yes. Over the years we have been meeting so much states and so much places, But this now is like the ultimate. This weekend was like the ultimate.
Oh, yeah.
The preparation of the food that I say the I do. I must have a commend the I.
Yes,
because of all the nights I was there, that dinner that was served. He's a pie man for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
The original pie man. I mean, the I outdid the I self, Rasta.
Yes, well, give thanks.
Yeah, the I outdid the I self. How long the I preparing this food?
Well, it's 30 years now,
30 years?
30 years now, me a vegetarian, but 24 years strictly live.
Strictly live?
Yes.
When we want to tell people that when we say live, we mean raw food. That's what how they would put it. But the terminology now is not raw again, it's live food. Right, sir?
Yeah, man, that's it.
Live food. All right, you said 30 years you have prepared, 30 years you're vegetarian.
Yeah, man.
20 years you're live.
Yes.
All right. So what make the I now decide that I would go into the preparation of the food for other people?
Well, once I became a vegetarian and I started moving around, traveling the world and observing people's diet, lifestyles and customs, I saw the difference of what was taking place, based on dietary consequences. So when I became all live now, I couldn't find food to eat anywhere I went. So I had to prepare everything for myself. I was living in California at the time. Then I moved to Tanzania. I was living by the Kilimanjaro. And during that time, I was a fruitarian. When I come back to the States now, I went to New York and landing in Harlem. Can't find no organic foods at a decent price. Then I started a co-op, or organic produce co-op. So during that time, as brothers and sisters would come to the house to pick up their produce, I would just give them a little bite. Like every time I see you at a show, I say, well, Muta, here, try this. So I give my people them a little thing. I say, try this.
Yes.
So after a while, I'm saying, boy.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. So when I get my bag of fruits next week, why you don't give me a pound of that, salad there and a buckle of that juice and a piece of the pie?
Yes.
So next thing I know, the order them starting getting big. And after a year, I said, sure, you have to take this thing out of the house, Went and opened up a shop right there in Harlem at 125th Street and
All right. To tell you like this, huh? The first time I started tour, I was very skeptical of eating from people. Whatever this means to the eye, I have to tell the eye this.
Yes.
You are the first person outside of Jamaica that has ever done any food preparation for eye, and I eat it. I tell the eye that right now.
Yes.
I remember the first time the eye prepared some food for eye, I was very skeptical. But when I realized there is no cooking, them years it was like about 4 or 5 years in a raw food, right?
Yes.
And when I come realize that you have a brethren who make all pie without put it on fire, it was like every eye, man. So I said, give thanks to the eye. I'm them time until now, but I realized that I move a lot, you know, from California to Maryland to New York to Jamaica to Africa. You know, it's like I move a lot. When they have a stable and city and...
Well, you know, this movement been going on from a long time, you know.
Yeah.
Because the origin of my roots, you know, coming out of Ethiopia, you know, we travel people, man. You know, them call us nomads.
Yeah, but we
travel across North Africa into Spain, down to West Africa.
But here I know. The last time, you know, I done New York, I hear that I was in Manhattan.
Yes.
And I take a taxi and from which part, 42nd Street, to go down to that little road right near Canal Street, where the place there where you used to left the pie them.
Yeah, man, that's
yeah.
Ozone.
Yeah, and I say, why Iris I make pie now? I never see the eye, but I see the pie.
Yeah.
I say the next time I come to New York now, I stay in the Ramada at the out at the airport, you know.
Yes.
And I hear say Iris, they are Flatbush. And I take a taxi in the Rasta and come out of Flatbush to go get a pie, you know. And I hear say Iris not dead there. Because like a thing. And now I hear say the eye is not in Flatbush again. The eye was in New Jersey.
Yes.
And then now I don't hear the eye in Jamaica. I know I hear say the eye in Jamaica. I call I one night and say the eye in Jamaica. So what? We're going to have Iris in Jamaica for a while?
Yeah, man. Well, you know, see, the original roots come from Jamaica. My grandparents leave Jamaica 100 years ago, Jamaica and Barbados, and went to Panama to build the canal.
Okay.
So being born in Panama and then traveling and moving around, living in the States for 37 years, I said, boy, you know, me had enough of this place, you know, it's time for me to go back home.
Yes.
But when I look at Panama, all my people, them gone. That was just a stop.
So Jamaica is where it's at.
So I said, well, Jamaica must be home, you know.
So meanwhile, Iris is coming, Bush is going.
Yes,
we will come back to the eye. We will come back to the eye. This is the cutting edge of an eye. And I promise you, know, tonight is going to be a different sort of program. You hear the man talk about fruitarian a while ago, and I hope people out there say, when them say fruitarian, will you go and hear all of these things? What is fruitarianism? What is raw food? When a man say I live on food when I cook, when I fire not touch, what it really mean? This is the cutting edge on RFM. Raw food, live food circuit, and he has been there and has done that. And when we say done that, he has been to so much places. But brethren.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Tell me how much, alright. Who are some of the people them, when I say international celebrities now, the I have prepared food for. I'm not about me now, like other people now, right?
Yeah.
Tell them who you prepare food for.
Well, you know, Dick Gregory.
Okay. Dick Gregory still up on the raw food diet?
Yeah, man.
I see him on the TV the other night.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, alright, Dick Gregory.
Yeah, Ian Lavanzant.
Okay.
Woody Harrelson.
I remember a time there was a raw food expo in San Francisco.
Yeah, man.
And I call about it, and I love to see the picture when me, Dick Gregory and Victor they take a picture where they say.
Yeah, man, and Wiley Brooks.
Okay.
We had Riley Brooks there too.
Well, I love to see that picture there, you know.
Yeah, man, me have it, man.
And I love to see the picture.
Yeah.
Alright. I know a whole heap of people, when they hear you say, when you go to Tanzania, you say?
Yeah, man.
You was a fruitarian.
Yes.
And what people say, when they say fruitarian, tell the people them who is a fruitarian.
Well, you know, the original, natural and best food for human consumption is fruits. And it's right there even in the scripture where it says, behold, for I've given unto you the seed-yielding trees, and unto you they shall be your meat. See, if you compare us to all animals in the kingdom, we're more closely related to the fruitarian animals, those that exist exclusively on fruits. And when we talk about fruits now, we're talking about anything that come to you with a seed. So a pear is a fruit.
Yes.
Cucumber.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Pumpkin.
Ackee. Melon. Yes.
All them things them is fruits.
Fruit.
And that's the best food for one to live on, because the thing about fruits, it doesn't leave a lot of waste behind in the system compared to other foods. And I did it for 2 years. But we come off of it when we went into the food business.
Okay.
And start fixing food for people them know. And this thing tastes good, you know.
Well, I want to tell you, say, I did it for about, I do the fruitarianism for about 6 months, you know.
Yes.
In the hills, and then I go to the raw food. Because at the time when I did decide, say, I go raw, I decided I would deal with the fruit thing first.
Yes.
So I go 6 months with the fruit, and then after the fruit, now we start to crush nuts.
Yes.
You know, and then we start to bake in the sun now. We start to use the thing and start bake things in the sun. And then we just go right into the sprouting and thing based up off the same 21st century book.
Yes.
Right? Because this book, out of all books, has influenced so much people.
Yes.
The survival in the 21st century. And I know that the I too was one of the ones that it influenced. I don't know about
Oh, yeah, man. That's my early influence, survival into the 21st century.
That is like a Bible.
That's the raw food Bible, man.
Yes, yes. All right, so the brethren is here now, and this is going on. This is swept away. Swept away is keeping this thing. And I see so much people, I mean, there's so much people there from all over the world who is into this raw food thing, you know. But it's very weird that I hardly see any black people involved. Why you think that not many black people is conscious of this lifestyle?
Well, you know, you'll be amazed to know that many black people are conscious of this lifestyle, because that's the community that has been supporting me throughout the years.
I know that. I know some youth but tell me say you train them.
Yeah, I train them. Just about anybody you see.
Yeah, most youth I buck up say Iris train them.
Yeah, man.
Yes, yeah.
No, well, you see, the thing is, well, actually, they might come here too, you know.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, a whole group of them coming next week.
Okay.
We're going to Portland.
Oh, you said, you was having a retreat in Portland?
Yeah, having a retreat in Portland.
Remind us, when is that retreat?
It's September 1st through the 5th.
Okay.
Right up there with my Sister P place there in Port Antonio.
Okay, so the guy, what, them have to reach up there, Rasta?
Yeah, man.
You see, you should say that by the radar, though, you know, because when we done with that program, every man got a raw food tomorrow, man.
Oh,
I like the video.
Yes, I am.
I like the video, and I want to tell you the colors in that video around the fruits. Yes. It's so, I mean, just looking upon the fruit, they make you just get right away like you just want to just be that. Yeah. Understand? That is really the beauty of fruits. You know, is that when you see them, like even in the market, the most appetizing thing in our market to me, you know, is not the yam and the onion and the below. It's the fruit section. You know, the different colors that the fruit them is in. I see when I see the eye take all of these fruits and make a pie, Rasta, and when I see people who did a wonder say, boy, oh, that's about taste. So when I see people taste it and say, ratty, them want more. Yeah. Never know, say, something when you put on fire in an oven could have taste. So, yeah, I mean, I say we have to really give thanks to the eye, Rasta, and we just hope and pray that the eye will continue in this journey, because this journey is the ultimate. No carry man will say vegetarianism is not the ultimate, because it's different levels and different stages of this movement. And from a man touch the raw now, we have to give time, because not many people can say when you eat raw, you eat less, you have less things to deal with, you spend less time in the kitchen, and your vibe just higher. We know that because we are talking from experience. Yes, I am. You see, we know that. So what is the move now? What is the next move for the eye?
Well, the move is right here. And the main thing is I'm going to produce some more videos and produce some books. Because I say 21 years now me in the food industry, preparing food for everyone. Yes. So now it's time for me to take a step and just, you know, share the knowledge, share the information, all of the secrets and everything. So I produce everything right here in Jamaica.
Oh, you want to know? You give me the number and hope say the operator. Operator, you listen to me? I want the operator to take this number where you give me. That's what can make the next connection with the next bridging. So give me the number, you know.
Yeah, man. 974.
Operator, you write on this number, 974
5041.
5041.
Yeah, extension 301.
974?
Yes.
That's all like Oldie there.
No, I'm sorry. I'll give you your number, man.
Oh, yeah, this stuff.
Look here. Me have it right here, man. 957-4061.
957-4061.
Yes, extension 301.
Alright, hold on. 957. Operator, listen. You get the number? 957. Alright, you get the number. So you're going to call that number and make it in the next between. Call that extension. Make we get him on the next line. Alright. So Aris, say me what there so for a while.
Yeah, man, yeah, I'm about here, man. It's because for me, right now I'm 90% fruits. So I wanted to get back to my center. And for me, the best place to do right now
is in Jamaica.
Yeah. And because of what I am doing, I wanted to also be accessible, to the people that have influence around the world.
Yes.
I wanted to be in an environment that is home. And truly, there's no better home in the African world than Jamaica you can attract someone to.
Yes.
Well,
so, I tell you, brethren, I come off of the raw. But you see, after this weekend, I could have never eat food again. Yeah, the truth. I come out of the ride, and I mean, it's an honor to get up. You see, after this weekend, Rasta, I was so inspired. And I was feeling so invigorated that I tell you. Yeah, man, I mean, yeah, it is something else. But, as I say, the brethren is always moving, and the brethren say, yeah, I know we're going to stay here a little while. Yeah, well, the world is our home,
Yeah,
we know.
And we must touch everyone in the world with this, man.
Yes. I have touched a lot.
Yes,
I have touched a lot. I have some brethren in Washington.
Yes.
Who open a place named Delight in the garden.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they and them tell I say I train them, and you have a sister in Martin too, and a sister on there which we hope to see her Kingston very soon.
Yeah, man.
She said she was part of the whole Iris training sun-fired food thing, and when we say sun-fired now, people might wonder what we're talking about. Tell the people them what we say, when we say sun-fired.
Well, sun-fire is the name of the cuisine that I have developed, and actually the concept is that the food is already been cooked by the sun when it comes to you. So the growing process is actually the cooking process. So no man can tell me that God make a mistake when an ackee ripen up on the tree and it open up. It ready to eat, it fit. So we now thinking we better than God, we're going to cook the ackee or cook plantain. So we have to make sure that in understanding the value of these foods, and for us to really be able to appreciate it, is that when you cook the food, you're actually cooking the sun out of the food. You're cooking the life out of food. When you apply heat to food above 125 degrees, you just destroy all of the nutrients. But the most critical thing you destroy is the enzyme. And the enzyme is the catalyst, the life force, the engineer in the food. And the particular enzymes that we have to be concerned about is the digestive enzymes, the one that break the food down. So when you cook a food now, you destroy the enzyme. And then the food can't help to digest itself, so you know how to produce digestive enzyme in order to break this food down. And boy, that's a big job, man. So you say after the cook up thing, you're tired.
Yeah.
Because the body I work overtime trying to produce all this enzyme to break down some thick food.
I always say, you take a hour in the kitchen cook and you take 10 minutes to eat it off, it don't make no sense.
True.
It don't make no sense to spend so much time preparing food and then in 10 minutes you just eat all of the food.
Yeah, man.
It really don't make no sense. And you find, say, we eat, I just not show someone that, for instance, now, ackee. I hope one man that want to know, we eat these things raw, but I eat ackee raw for years. We don't tell one to go on the kind of eat raw, because you have to know what we're doing. But when you cook ackee, you can't cook less than a dozen ackee.
Yeah.
But when you eat the ackee on a certain level, I go ask how much half dozen ackee and ask me what you going to do with half dozen ackee. I see say, Muta, what you going to do with half dozen ackee? And I say, I'm going to eat it. She said, but you can't cook half dozen ackee. I say, but me not half dozen ackee. She said, you're mad. You're mad, but they would like know. They would like know that when you pluck out those ackee and soak it in lime juice, it is cooked.
Yeah, well, it's the same as doing the escovitch fish.
Yes.
You squeeze the lime juice and let the lime juice cook it.
Cook it, yes.
Break it down, tenderize it.
Lime juice is one of the greatest, what you call tenderizer.
Yeah, man.
Yes, a lot of people don't know that, but we have to make the people them know that one of the ways one of the ways to soften or make things cooked is to use lime juice. Yeah, this is the cutting edge on RFM. All on the Iris.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Are on the cutting edge, and I want to tell you that this program might be one of the most important programs you will ever hear on food and what it is, raw food and digestion and all the things them that is necessary and important for healthy living. We have on the line here Aris, who was talking to. Aris is still there?
Yeah, man, I'm here, man.
And we have, as we say now, the man who we think has written the Bible for live food, the formula for live food living and what they call raw food living. The man is called Viktorat Kulvinskas. I hope we're pronouncing him name. Good night, sir. Hello.
Yeah, good night. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I am so overjoyed to know that you could make it after doing that lecture that you just did a while ago. So we give thanks to know that you could make it.
Yeah, I just finished a long lecture over here, and it's just beautiful being in your country, especially seeing vitality and the bountiful food that is available, and how simple life could be if people just kind of moved more away from the fire and into the fire of the sun that warms their bodies. You don't want to have a relationship with another person by cooking them before you have a good times, and you don't need to do that with your food. Cook it to have a good time, to give you health, vitality. You just take the vibrations out of it by use of fire.
Okay. Let us start from the beginning here. You have written a book. I don't know how, I think, well, I got the book in the 70s. When was this book written?
This book was written in 1975. I've written about 10 books in all. My last book, which I'll be sending copies to Aris, is called Lover's Diet.
Yes. But this one, of all the books, and I must say, of all the books, I think this one has influenced more people in this lifestyle than any book that I know about.
Well, thank you.
Yes, I'm just saying that because I know what impact it had on me when I was living in the hills of St. James and reading this book. It influenced me so much in terms of even sprouting. It was this book that caused me to go into what we call sprouting. You know, and from that time until now, I have met so much people who have heard of Viktorat. And we want to give thanks for the work that you have done over the years in relationship to this lifestyle. So we want to start now. In the book you start out by talking about the lifestyle of people. Food in your poison. You talk about food in your poison. I don't know if you remember the book still, but you talk about food in your poison. What is food in your poison?
Food in your pipe?
In your poison.
Oh yes, food in your poison. Well, there's a majority of what people are eating is basically poison, and there's a little bit of nutritional value in there, but majority of it is basically poisoning you. So the little nutrients that you get out of the food helps to keep you alive and going. If you take a look at people are consuming probably the best part of their food is the spices and the herbs that are in the seasoning, and everything else is totally poisonous to the system. Even the spices and herbs, all they do is make your body work a little harder and a little faster until you get into real food, the food that comes from the tree, the food that comes from the field. Then basically the poisons are gone. Now you're dealing with real food, vibrationally high, and it makes you alive, away from disease. And if you are not well, it makes you well. Basically, you don't need to go any further than that. And in Jamaica, you really are very blessed. The thing that I do is I look at all the different Caribbean people and other island people. You guys look so good. I mean, so much teeth, such great smiles. The skin condition is good, and because you guys eat so little of dairy products and white flour products. You know, more fruit, more fish. So you already have a darn good foundation. But the next step would be to eat less, or rather to eat more and more of the fresh food, and stop destroying the value of the food. You end up eating less, and you'll have much more left over to export it or to share it with your friends. But once you put the fire to it, basically you need to eat much more to get the same value.
Yes. There's a lot of people that feels that if they stop eating meat, they won't get any protein in the system. And that sometimes leads to over excessiveness of protein in the system. So
well, if
elaborate
meat
on
was
that.
so important, then we would be feeding. One would feed it to the baby instead of breast milk, and because the baby is basically, when it's growing at the most rapid time, at the most fast pace, much faster than they ever grow in later part of their lives, and yet the little protein that is in mother's breast milk, like what you find in fruit, is more than enough to take care of the baby, to supply all the protein that it needs. The problem with protein is that people, when they eat it cooked, they need to eat lots of it. But when you eat it not cooked, when you eat it the way the Creator has given us to in the trees, in the greens, then you need very little, because it's in such perfect form that it's all available. When you eat it in a cooked form from an animal, you get very little from it. The rest of it poisoning your body, and it's giving you cancer, it's giving you heart diseases, it's giving you arthritis, rheumatism, and it's making you nuts.
Yeah, so tell us the chemical breakdown of this protein, because what we understand is that in the meats, right, and most of the legumes, the protein is not really broken down in the body easily. But you are saying now that, like, in the vegetables and maybe in the sprouting of these vegetables, it is broken down. What allows the protein to be broken down easier in the vegetable than even a meat diet?
Well, you just need a little. If you're eating fruit, you're getting all the protein in any single meal. Your body, whatever is extra, it's stored. And if you're missing some amino acid that's important, well, you might get it 2 days later. And they all combine together, and it makes your cells. So one doesn't have to think in terms of that you need the complete protein from the flesh to make flesh in your body. Just like if you don't have to eat nails or hair in order to have hair grow on your head. That whole idea that the body can't pick and choose from the different things that you have eaten and build a fantastic body, just like the gorilla or any animal that lives in nature. They eat the greens, they eat some fruit, and basically their whole body is taken care of. They don't have to eat other animals in order to feel healthy, and we are the same way. And everybody in nature, except us, humans, go out and cook the food and destroy it, and as a result, we are very unhealthy. The first step toward health is, and the most important one, well, one would be is to eat as much as possible fresh food, fresh fruits and vegetables. The more you eat raw food, the healthier you become. And if possible, get off all animal protein, or just eat very little, or eat none at all. The less you eat, the clearer becomes your mind, the more energy you develop. You don't have that short-term energy. You have long-term energy that allows you to just keep on going and going, to be productive into old age. I mean, most people get old very young. You know, to be old at 80 is still very young. I mean, if you're maybe 300 years old, then maybe it's time to pack up and, you know, leave this planet. You've been around quite a long time. You've done it all. But most people are already old when they're young.
Yes, yes.
And if they eat young foods, they stay young. If you eat dead foods, you become more and more like what you eat. You become more and more dead. It's just unavoidable.
Yes, all right. Over the years, you have been emphasizing sprouts, the peas, the legumes. Why is it important to not just eat the beans, but when you sprout it,
Well, sprouting is very important, though it's not at all necessary, but it's a food. When you take something and you create babies, then it's like the vampires that are eating fresh blood that has the most condensed nutrients, and it makes your body rejuvenate itself. Just like the baby, if you're eating baby type of blood, you get rejuvenated. You're eating baby food from the plants when they're just born. They have the best nutrition, and also they have all these hormones that make for strong sexual energy, they make for beautiful skin, and they make for high energy. The fruit can maintain you in most wonderful fashion, but the most rejuvenating foods are basically foods that are just starting to grow. The baby greens, the baby sprouted wheatgrass, the sprouted lentil or mung bean or chickpeas. Those have a very powerful effect on rejuvenating old bodies.
All right. In this age of genetic engineering, in this age of, food that is genetically being processed and processed food, one would say that it is very, you could say, unhealthy to even go into now picking and choosing what vegetables to eat, because there's so much engineering going on. What would you suggest to a person? Because I say I am hearing fruitarian, but then I am listening to this brethren the other night, the brethren from the Hippocrates Institute, that says that because of the sugar content in fruits, it is not wise at this moment to be a fruitarian.
That's a very good question. And Brian, the head of Hippocrates, deals basically with very sick people, and their blood vessels, their blood tubes are filled with grease. So when you put in a food like fruit, which has a lot of sugar, then the insulin, which is supposed to take that sugar across the grease, it gets stuck. And it doesn't have an easy job.
Yes.
So the body needs much more insulin to really move the sugar quickly out of the bloodstream into the cells. However, if you do cleansing and your bloodstream is eventually cleaned up so that you don't have all that grease, then you have no problems with the sugar.
Okay, so you're saying that the reason for not having a substantial intake of fruit is because of not cleansing the body. But after the body is cleansed, the fruit is the highest level then. That is what you're saying.
You have no problems anymore with basically with sugar. You also need less and less protein as you clean up your body. Body needs a lot of protein for several reasons. One is by cooking it, you already disorganize the protein and destroy about 80 to 90% of the protein value. Then when whatever protein you get into your system, then it's being obstructed by all the grease that you got in the intestinal tract and the blood vessel. It has a most difficult time getting to the muscles,
yes,
to the blood vessels, where it's going to be utilized for building hormones, rebuilding cells, building new tissues, whatever work it has to do. So basically, it's a matter of once you detoxify, you need less and less food to have maximum energy and don't have any problems of keeping the weight.
All right, when you talk about detoxification now, could you just explain to the Jamaican people what is this detoxification?
In Jamaica, you got this most wonderful food, the coconut water, and one of the best ways to fast is and clean out and detoxify is using coconut water and your hot pepper. Hot pepper, very good because it makes your blood vessels open up and everything moves quicker, so you can clean out your system so much faster. And the most perfect juice is the coconut water. Doing coconut water and some herbs that make your bowels evacuate a little more at bedtime, like a tea that's, I'm not familiar with what kind of herbs are available here, but in America, United States, they use cascara sagrada or something like that just helps to keep the system more eliminated. But even just using cayenne, moves everything and evacuates the bowel extremely well, and also increases radically the circulation. That's a pretty rapid way to clean out the blood vessels, as well as to clean out the intestinal tract. And you do it for initially you do it for 1 day. Just makes a big difference. And if you do that 1 day every 7 days, every week, hey, in a year you have fasted 50 days plus.
Yes.
And then if you do some longer ones, so much the better. If you're ready, you can do 3 days or a week or 2 weeks. That way you get your body even more deeper and deeper into basically a cleansing and detoxification. And as you clean out, you look better more after each cleanup. You start looking better. Your skin looks better. Your eyes feel brighter. You got more energy. You feel more joy. You feel more love. Hey, more ladies come your way, and the ladies just don't know with all the men that's saying, "Oh my God, what have you done, honey?" You know. So basically, it's a very good thing to do.
Yes, yes. So you're saying that Jamaicans need to drink more coconut water?
Yeah, man, that's what I must say, man.
Yeah, more coconut water.
More coconut water.
Oh,
every
and the
day.
island has so much of it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Especially first thing in the morning. As we already know it right there. We say, wash the heart.
Yes, coconut water wash out your heart.
Yeah,
yes.
but what come through the heart goes the blood.
Yes.
Wash the blood out when it comes through the heart.
Yes, yes. The best detoxification.
And you know, when you wash, you become nice looking. You stop smelling.
Yeah. All right, just a minute. Hold on, just a minute. This is the Cutting Edge and IRFM going through. We are talking to Viktoras Kulvinskas, the author of Survival in the 21st Century. And we're talking to Aris from Sun-Fired Foods. Yes. Yes, we're talking to Viktoras Kulvinskas, author of Survival in the 21st Century, and Aris. We're back with you, my brethren.
Yeah, man.
Yes. All right. Viktoras.
Yeah, Viktoras lost in song, you know. So me right here.
Him lost him what?
The song, him can't hear you.
Him can't hear me?
I can hear barely, but I think I can hear it. Let's just try to make it work.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. There's some questions here that someone did ask me tell me to ask you, you know. Menstruation, women. In the book, you declare that women is not supposed to menstruate. That is what it said in the book?
Did I write that?
No, I don't know. I'm asking.
No, yes, I did. Hey, listen, all my women friends just stopped doing it, and I had to have an explanation. You know, I mean, they thought it was kind of strange, but they liked it. You know, I mean, who wants to be bleeding every month? And I mean, that doesn't sound good. I mean, would you like to bleed every month? Huh?
No, I
don't think so. Do you think those ladies like to bleed every month?
No.
You know, basically, they're losing all their youth stuff, all the young things that make you young, all the important hormones, vitamins that are fat-soluble, tremendously rich environment, as well as some toxins are being dumped out in this way. That's why when they get into that menopause, things look really messy because they lost that method of excretion of waste out of the system. The men, hey, listen, the men has, believe it or not, men has a menstrual thing too going for him. It's called ejaculation. You know, when you unload...
But ejaculate at the right time.
That's the same thing. You're losing that blood stuff, the stuff that really gives you good brain, the stuff that gives you power. But you keep doing that, and eventually you can't do it anymore, and then you get prostrate. And it has to do with the fact, whereas if you just kind of hold on to that power, and it's easy to hold on to that power if you do live food, then basically you don't have to get it. You never get prostrate, never get menopause, you never get menstruation. I mean, you look happier, you don't get all that miserable, bitchy feelings. Life is
all right, let me ask you a question here. We're talking about, you just mentioned about men, ejaculation is part of the menstruation for men. Are you saying that we must have sex and don't ejaculate? Are you saying that we mustn't have sex because we're going to ejaculate?
Listen, when you can recycle that stuff and instead of throwing it away, you ejaculate inside of yourself. You still get the orgasms. and you feel the bliss, and you can do it many times with your woman to experience that orgasmic feeling, because that's what you're after, not to just unload. You're after to have the experience of bliss, of communion, and the woman is getting it, 20 times if you're a real strong man, and you're getting it maybe once or twice, but if you hold on to that power, hey, you're getting it over and over.
All right, the engineer is asking me how you do that. How do you just hold on to that?
How do you basically you develop strength of muscle that allows you to basically take you into orgasm, but without the ejaculation. So, people kind of, when they play, they take it pretty darn close, and eventually they lose it. And they lose it because they just don't have that kind of muscular tonality. When you're on an alkaline diet, then your muscles are much firmer. They're stronger. You have better control through your mind. You can control things. Initially, if you don't know, if you can't do it yet with the mind, then you apply pressure between the anus and the genitalia, just right in between, and you can prevent it from leaving you, and that way it's very easy, quick. You can get recharged and get re-energized just through breathing. You build up more electrical force, and you can again send that electricity through your body and experience that orgasmic feeling, just like women do.
All right. So,
another thing, though, that goes on is that men who eat meat secrete a very toxic acid, uric acid. And uric acid tends to settle in the prostate area. So it makes these men having these toxins down there want to ejaculate, to get rid of it. That's why you see men, they have wet dreams, or them go somewhere and watch some thing to move the toxins out of the system. So more time now, when they go with the woman to ejaculate, they're actually using the woman to dump the toxins out. And they put it into the woman now. And now these things become irritating to the woman, and she has all kind of discharge and everything.
And also that predisposes to all these cancers that the woman has in the uterus. Well, a lot of it has to do with she's acting as a dumping ground for the male toxemia.
Yes. Okay, that's very, very interesting here. Very interesting. I know.
But let me just say this. You asked initially about menstruation. The healthier the woman is, the healthier she is, the shorter is the period duration. And if she's really very healthy, she has just a slight flow of mucal matter and little change in temperature, and she knows exactly when she's fertile. So she don't have to use any of these birth controls. Maybe for 2 days she is fertile. The rest of the time, she can enjoy her relationship with her male, not worrying about having a baby when she don't want one. When she wants one, she knows how to get it. She knows when it's happening.
Yeah, so what happens to a woman when she menstruates? I mean, you naturally menstruate. There's no problem with that. But the issue is the amount of blood flow that comes out. And the amount of flow that comes out is definitely related to the amount of garbage that you put into your body during the past 28 days. So if you put a lot of foods into the body that are generating toxins, now all of these toxins have to come out during this menstrual cycle. So you see women who come down with cramps and feel bad and all them things, this is garbage trying to come out now in a short space of time. So what the system is actually doing, it is using the menstrual cycle and using the vagina now as an auxiliary organ of elimination to get the garbage out. And the less garbage you put in, the less the flow is going to be. And that's what Victor is talking about. So we have seen women who have gone on live food, women who have become fruitarian, and very little comes out because they didn't put that much in to begin with.
Yes. Very serious, very serious. All right. The next question is about the intake of sugar. And we're talking about sugars that is in fruits, and as opposed to just normal crystal sugar. We're talking about now, is it the same in taking sugar, any form of sugar? When we say any form, I mean like crystallized sugar, dark sugar, brown sugar. Is it the same as drinking the juice, like the fructose from the orange? Is eating an orange the same as absorbing fructose sugar? Or is drinking cane juice the same as eating sugar, brown sugar or granulated sugar?
Sugar, brown or or white, it has been heat treated, and because of that, even if there is any nutrients available, like in the brown sugar, which is basically just white sugar with molasses added, they're not very readily available, and you pay a very expensive price in trying to digest those sugars. You burn up a lot of vitamin B, a lot of calcium, just in order to make use of that sugar and pass it through your body. So it's not a very good way. If you want something sweet, just have a little bit of honey, put it on your tongue and sweeten yourself, but don't mix honey into your tea or into your coffee if a person is drinking that stuff. It's just it's just too much sugar, but the kind that is getting immediately into the blood and making your body work extra hard. So if you want to use something, just tiny little amount to sweeten the mouth, not your tea or your coffee or your water or your lemonade. Sweeten the mouth, but if you sweeten your lemonade or your coffee, you have to put 3, 4 teaspoons. If you want to sweeten your mouth, you put in tiny little, 1/10 of a teaspoon, and it makes you feel sweet. And then you drink the liquid, and you feel very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So this way, you don't have to consume so much of the sugary type of things, which all of them are hard on the body.
Yeah. All right. In Jamaica, we have cane juice. I don't know if you're familiar. Well, you must be familiar with cane juice. Are you familiar with cane juice?
Yeah, but look, I make plenty cane juice.
Yeah, I know you make
sugar cane juice, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm asking, the question I'm asking is, drinking cane juice, is it the same as eating sugar?
No way. I mean, that is wonderful food, but again, it comes down to, do you drink it by itself on an empty stomach? If you've got other food in your stomach and you're drinking sugar cane, it's going to ferment. It's going to make you feel a little drunk. It's going to give you maybe even a headache, or it's going to give you the runs. It's just not going to make you feel good. And the other thing is, if a person is not healthy and their blood vessels are all clogged up with fat, then drinking that sugar cane can basically starts giving you problems with too much sugar in the blood, and you're going to start spilling it out through your urine, and it's going to start stressing out your kidney. It's going to start also at the same time making you predisposed toward all kind of nasty yeast problems. So it's not that good like that. It's only okay if you are clean, but it's better, in a way, it's better than Pepsi-Cola, 100 times better than drinking Pepsi-Cola or drinking bottled carrot juice or drinking, canned orange juice. It's far better. So it's all relative, in relationship to what we're comparing. Even for anybody, it's still very beneficial. But if you do it, sugars do have a stress impact on the system if you're not a healthy individual, when it is in a sugar cane or it's in apple juice or in orange juice.
Yes. Okay, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM. We're talking to the author of The Survival in the 21st Century, Viktorat Kulvinskas, and we're also talking to Aris. We're talking about different things. Dairy products seem to be something that a lot of people feel, on the TV, you hear that drinking milk will make you healthy. They use runners to advertise cow's milk. They use athletes to show you that, drinking a glass of milk, a cup of milk will give you energy. We understand and we know that, human beings is the only creatures on earth that drink milk when they are weaned. And we see that mucus, cow's milk is one of the greatest forms of mucus in the system. Could you just elaborate to the Jamaican people on this level?
Well, first of all, you were very right about humans are the only ones that continue to drink not only milk after weaning, but also from other species. And because of drinking, one thing to drink raw milk, the body can more or less get some benefit out of it. But once you start pasteurizing, then number one, if mother is drinking pasteurized milk and she ends up also getting pregnant and keeps drinking that pasteurized milk, very likely that the child will be diabetic, especially if the child is also given pasteurized milk. If you're an adult drinking pasteurized milk, after a while you're getting all those colds that's strictly associated with milk. If you've got arthritis, I mean, everything that is in scientific literature shows that 85% of arthritic rheumatism basically caused by pasteurized milk. They've done studies with people, with children who had been drinking 2 quarts of milk products per day. If they continue drinking that much, they say by 18 they're guaranteed 80% to be juvenile delinquents. It messes up your social behavior. The same thing they found in studies with people who were criminals committing violence. They found that those people were on average consuming over 3 to 4 quarts of pasteurized milk products per day. It really makes the mind confused, and you behave not like a very nice person because your mind is not fully there. You're not connected with your creation, with your God, with your love. You basically lose that. You become a little stupid, as the expression goes. I mean, milk does reduces your mental abilities. It makes you, and it's the number one food that causes allergy. You know, especially among the Afro individuals, the black folks have more difficulty with pasteurized milk. And the nice thing, and I could be wrong, but I'm under the impression that there's very little pasteurized milk product consumption on this island.
No, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it.
Yeah, you see, one of the biggest thing about the milk now is that it's a carbohydrate. And as a carbohydrates digest. They begin their digestion in the mouth. They must be mixed with saliva, so you get the digestive enzyme to break it down. When you are drinking milk, you are swallowing a whole carbohydrate and dropping it into the stomach where it cannot be digested. So black people, for the most part, have what is called a lactose intolerance. We cannot tolerate the lactose in the milk. It does not break down in our system whatsoever. So you just go down in there like a big clump, like a big ball, and just sit there, and it's just rotting after a while.
Wow.
You see children with asthma, any kind of respiratory problem, you can check and see how much milk they have been drinking.
All right, so what happened to the people who have asthma but don't drink meat?
Wheat, white flour.
Yes.
White flour. It's one of the two. It's milk or white flour.
Yes.
And too much animal protein as well.
Yes, yes. So I know a lot of vegetarians who are asthmatic.
Yeah.
This is because of what they was eating before then, you say?
Yeah, and a lot of them, a lot of vegetarians, they are eating a lot of gluten. A lot of this vegetarian imitation meat that is full of wheat.
Yes.
Full of gluten, the glue part that doesn't break down in the system at all.
Yes, yes.
Just clog it up.
Yes. All right, this is the Cutting Edge on IRFM. Very interesting. We're talking about food, very important thing in life, food, you know, and it's what we eat that decide how sick we are or how healthy we are. We have to come to that conclusion. And as I said, there are levels and stages in eating food and preparing food, and we're at the stage now with these two brethren that we're talking about eating live foods. When we say live food, we mean food that is not cooked on your gas stove or your electric stove, but was touched and kissed by the sun. That is what we're talking about. Okay, so now we're talking about we talk about the kids. The next question was this menopause. Menopause is something that a lot of women go through, and we hear all sorts of things about what is supposed to happen with women when they are going through menopause. Why is it, what is causing these things in women? Like, for instance, the hot flashes, they say, you know, the miserable attitudes, a lot of these things that go with what they claim is menopause.
Well, just think about it. The skin is your largest eliminative organ. Okay? So all of a sudden, as Aris was explaining, that if you stop the discharge of waste through your menstrual on a monthly basis. It's got to go somewhere. So the body, the woman is still creating toxemia by her dietary habits. So now the body uses the skin as an eliminative organ, as a means of a very strong sweat to excrete acids, as an example. So the symptoms that she experiences, the symptoms of retaining that poison, and as the body is adapting either to trying to get rid of it or finding places to store it out of circulation so that the life could go on. So the discomforts, all they need to do is get on a clean program of basically more coconut water, stop eating the rich animal protein, stop the dairy products, stop the grain products, and eat only whole foods, and you will find that the menopause problems will disappear.
Yeah, but we're not talking about people who eat meat here now. We're talking about vegetarians who is having these problems.
Yeah, well, but one of the things, that's why a lot of vegetarians now have been growing up, you know, eating too much cooked food. You look at the traditional vegetarian diet, a whole heap of brown rice and a whole heap of beans. Whether it's soybean in the way of tofu.
Whole heap of stew.
Yeah, man. A bunch of paste. So them clog up them system. It's waste them still putting in the system. Really, it come down like it's just as bad as eating meat, you know.
Yes. The whole heap of tofu and the whole heap of gluten.
Yes.
Yes, it's
the
true.
soy cheese and the this and the that and all them things, the veggie chunks and all them things them.
Yes, yes.
The body don't break them things down. It's still waste. It's garbage it's filling up the body with.
You know, the cooked vegetarians don't live any longer than the meat eaters. They also have the same kind of diseases as the meat eaters, except it appears like 10 years later in life. Outside of that, you know, they do make for making a cleaner and a better world to live in, but basically as far as their health, they made very little improvement.
Yeah, you know, a clear example of that is the macrobiotic diet. The macrobiotic diet has claimed to be the cancer prevention diet. And now, the main proponents of the macrobiotic diet, you see them coming down with cancer. And these people, all they eat is rice and beans.
And they're all, you know, going bald, having constipation. Basically, their energy is low. They need that coffee and cigarettes to get through the day.
All right. Well, I want to come back to the macrobiotic diet. And we're going to explain to the people of Jamaica what is macrobiotic and why is macrobiotic not really as claimed a healthy way to go. This is the Cutting Edge and IRFM. Back here with you, talking about food, you understand? Victor?
Yes, Victor.
Viktorat?
Yeah, it seems like it.
He's here, okay. Yeah. All right. We want to talk about, you see, how does one prepare themselves? Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we're here.
Yeah. How does one prepare themselves to reach the level of a raw food diet? Because we know that there are a lot of vegetarians now that is listening to this and it's saying, wow, you know, to reach that level, you know, this vegetable is so bland, you know what I mean? Just eating a salad is not something that they would want to do, you know, every day.
You know, especially as far as salads are concerned, if you put together a lot of beautiful... use ocean water. Ocean water is one of the best medicine that one could think of. A tablespoon of ocean water from a clean area from that is not too polluted, and basically mixing it in. It adds the ocean vibration, just like you would put in sea vegetables into it.
All right, so you are saying that in order to move from that level and to relieve the monotony of just eating salads, you can squeeze lime juice, orange juice, mix it with some fruits.
Exactly.
And make it more palatable, make it more tasty.
Oh, so, yeah, and it does become very tasty because predominantly you're experiencing the fruit flavors, but there are, as you become more acclimated, I mean, red peppers, I mean, that's just delicious to eat by itself. Cucumbers has its wonderful flavor. Celery has its saltiness. So each vegetable, as you become more familiar, it becomes a delight in its own. It's just that we have taste buds that have been accustomed to basically to strong taste. After a while, tastes that are not so loaded with sugar and salt and vinegar, they become also very delightful.
Okay. As you mentioned vinegar, we had a reason about vinegar. What do you think about apple cider vinegar?
It's fine to use, not too much of it, because it is still acid on your body, but at the same time, it has a lot of therapeutic and nutritional value. So a little bit, it always works out fine. I prefer lemon or lime or some other little tartness, but apple cider vinegar, especially unpasteurized, it has a vitality.
Okay, all right. So that clear up that. I've cleared up so much things tonight. All right. So you say that to relieve the monotony, you mix it with fruits. All right, we're talking about mixing here now. You know, in Jamaica, on a Sunday, in Jamaica, if you go to most houses on a Sunday, you will see rice and peas mixed with chicken and maybe banana on the side, right? So what you have in here is peas, which is a protein, mixed in with rice, which is starch,
yep,
which is meat again, which is protein again,
yep,
mixed in banana again, which is carbohydrate again. This is definitely a no-no to the vegetarian.
It's a major stress. That's why they feel pretty sleepy after the meal, kind of tired, low energy, because the energy becomes centralized in digestion. That's where they start needing some coffee or something to kind of little wake them up and stimulate basically bowel movement so that the food does not start rotting inside your system.
All right, so we're going to give the people them here a good, I think, what is no-no and what is good and what is poor. In terms of combination of food, a bad combination is to mix protein and starch. It's to mix oil and starch.
Very hard to digest. Although when you're young and you got strong enough enzyme reserves, you can get away with it, but your body works extra hard, and eventually it's not successful. That's when starch starts turning sour, and people start needing all these anti-acids, Alka-Seltzer, Rolaids, and whatever else they take.
So goat and rice is not really a death. It's a direct no-no.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. See, vegetarians make the same mistake, because instead of the vegetarian saying meat, which is protein, and rice, what the vegetarian does is put like tofu with brown rice, which is same protein and starch.
That's right.
Yeah, so that is also a no-no. Fruit.
Definitely. It's, again, a significant stress.
Yeah, you see what's going on now is like when you have protein inside the body, the protein itself takes over the digestive system. And as we said before, the carbohydrate or the starch digests in the mouth. But if you have it going down into the stomach now with the protein takes over the digestion, the starch goes undigested, so it ferments, and you get gas.
And you definitely need an anti-acid.
We have fruit and starch. It's not a very good. What happens when you mix fruits with starch food, fruits with starchy foods?
Well, the acidity of the fruit makes the starch digestion difficult, because starch digests best in an alkaline environment, whereas fruit basically has an acid component, so it makes it for difficult digestion. Although if you're talking about possibly ripe papaya or a banana, one can more or less get away with it.
Okay. All right. A poor combination, protein and acid fruit.
That's not really altogether too bad as far as digestibility.
Oh, so you say, like, so you could mix like cashew with grapefruit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Blend it together?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, it's not good, but it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, exactly. It would digest relatively fine. There's no conflict.
But right. One thing that's important, though, is you should soak the cashew ahead of time.
Yes.
So that the digestive enzyme that
release the enzymes. You release the enzymes out of it.
Yeah, man.
All right. So, like greens and fruits, you can mix vegetables with fruits.
Yes, you can, as long as there's no starch.
Okay, as long as all right. A good combination is like protein and leafy vegetable.
Excellent.
Starch and vegetable.
Yes, sir.
Oil and leafy greens.
Uh-huh.
All right, when you say oil, what are you talking about here now? Because people here say oil now, and, you know, what is oil now? Because I am told that oil is not a very good thing to use in the system.
Well, the best oil to use is olive oil. The problem is when you heat oil, though, the oil, you destroy the fat-splitting enzyme in the oil. So there's no help in the oil to break it down. So when you fry something now, the oil can't be broken down at all unless you produce the enzyme that's going to split these fats.
So you're giving all right, when you fry a plant or fry dumpling, and you're eating it, what you actually do is give your body more work.
You give your body more work because your body has to produce enzymes to break that oil down.
Yes. So it's a serious thing.
So it's best thing to do is, if you're going to use oil, is add it when you're eating. Once the cooking process is completed, or you add it to your salad, but don't cook with it.
So frying is a no-no.
It's one of the worst things you could do for yourself as far as diet.
You know, every morning, every Sunday morning, people fry them also. Fry dumpling, fry plant, fry egg, fry this and fry that. You know, I mean, it's all about frying.
Well, I'll tell you, all these cancer-causing substances that are created, they're very tasty.
Yeah, man.
It's true. It's true. The worst things taste the best.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes, them usually say what is sweet to the mouth, sometimes bitter to the belly, but sometimes the bitterness to the belly is what have the longevity. But it's really interesting, and in talking all of this, we want to emphasize to the people, you know, because I personally, I must tell you this, that I personally have used myself as a guinea pig for years in testing these things. You know, I have been through what we call the fruit vibes, I have been through the vegetarian vibes, I have been through all the different levels of vibes. But the one that strikes me more and very interesting is what Viktorat talk about, breatharianism.
Oh my God. Uh-oh, now you got me.
No, we have to talk about it because this is the ultimate.
I don't know about that. Maybe it is for some people. But you want to talk about it, be glad to talk about it.
Yeah, I want to talk about it. Because when I read breatharianism, I am saying, wow, this is the next level, you know.
Well, just think about it. I mean, how do you get your sugar? From the sun. The sun puts it into the leaves, then you eat all the greens, or you eat the fruit sugar, and then it basically releases the energy inside your body through chemical reactions. So if you hang out in the sun, the skin can also pick up the energy of the sun and make it work for you, just like you take it through the tree. The air in a place like a forest or an orchard or a garden is loaded with all kind of rich nutrients. I'm talking about like nutrients, the fragrances. They have rich oils. The pollen in the air is loaded with protein. So you're getting a lot of nutrients through breathing. If your body's totally perfect, in a sense, you need very little nutrition from the outside. You also have in your colon all these, what they call friendly bacteria, that they can actually capture the nitrogen in the air and convert it into amino acids and protein. Actually, you can get up to 30 grams. That's more than enough. What recommendations by government figures of how much protein you need to get through the day. So basically, as we start seeing it, we don't need that much from the outside. Your body through the skin, from the sun, creates vitamin D. You can get, when you're hanging out in the sun, you don't feel as much need for things to eat, and basically the energy, I'm talking about the colors, are nutrition from the sun. Basically what you're eating is eating the vibrational color spectrum, the different color energies from the mango, the colors that are in there. And these are basically vibrations that you can pick it up through the skin itself. And there's been hundreds of people who have been, because of their God-given connection, they have just walked away from food and ended up living off the divine source of this energy that is available to all of us. And if you think about it, mind you, I believe all those people that are eating fast foods and eating at all those junk places, they're all breatharians. They're not getting any nutrition from the food. They're getting it all from the air, from the sun.
All right. No, this is very interesting here. You're saying we are talking about colors here now. You are saying that the colors is really what your body is reacting to and responding to.
Well, you heard a lot of people get healed by just getting the right color on their body, and there's no
for this food.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have experienced that. I am telling you, I have experienced working in the sun. And all you need is something to drink. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that have this experience, that you're going through the sun and the sun is so hot that all you need is something to drink. You don't really need no food. So
yeah, you become like a desert. You keep evaporating, so you got to refill yourself with liquid.
Yeah, I am hearing the brethren from the Hippocrates Institute. He's saying that too much drinking of water is not a good thing to do.
Oh, it's so true. There is people who are drinking way too much water or drinking it wrongly, so that if you drink water, and you should, in the morning, a glass or two, whatever fills up your thirst, and then during the day, small amount all day long, half a glass or so every hour. In other words, sipping, an average person, like if you are about 160 pounds, probably you could do well with about 6 glasses of water drank. But best time to drink is either on an empty stomach or small quantities of like a half a cup or less with the food, and primarily the more fresh and raw food you end up eating, the less water you need to consume.
Yes. So what will happen if you drink too much water?
It dilutes your digestive juices, and at the same time can overwork your kidney and making you spill out too much of your important minerals. So those are some of the things that are going to go wrong, and you could start having digestive problems.
Okay, so
and it's very important to try to drink, water that is room temperature and not ice or very hot.
Okay, so we're saying now that the more fruits you eat, the less you will want water, because the liquid already inside of the fruits.
That's correct.
All right. You just talk about temperature. Why is it not good to drink ice water?
Well, your digestion works best when the liquids are the same temperature as your body. So if you're drinking something cold that's 40 degrees, then your body has to work extra hard to bring the temperature, first of all, up to 98, and at the same time, the food will go through some spoilage until the liquid is warmed up. So it doesn't work very easily. Chemical reactions inside of your body will work best at body temperature. If you're putting in something cold, then it has to be warmed up inside of your body before body chemistry can work.
Right.
And it also causes your body to contract. So if you have some serious cardiovascular heart diseases where your blood vessels are very congested, it can cause so much contraction that it can bring on a heart attack.
All right. So the other thing now is the opposite to that now. In Jamaica, a lot of people, as they get up in the morning, they want some hot tea. They want to drink something hot. They say they're getting out the gas out of them system, them belch, them getting out the gas. Why is it not good to drink hot things?
It's very fine to drink warm and body temperature or a little warmer than the body, but when you start in drink, like if you're drinking coffee at a restaurant, they give it to you at 160 degrees. That's extremely hot.
No, what
you do is basically cook your tongue, you cook your stomach, and you start getting something that looks like leather inside your stomach, and it stops absorbing and becomes poor at secreting your needed digestive secretions, and it starts giving you more and more indigestion.
I am saying sometimes that this hot tea, I see some people have these hot tea in them. Like even when I used to live with my grandmother, she have this hot chocolate tea.
Yes.
And I'm saying, if you pour this hot tea on your hand and see what you put to your hand, much less what it's doing in your mouth.
Yeah, the best way to know if it's too hot, stick your nose into it first. And if it's too hot for your nose, it's not good.
Yes.
As they say, your nose knows.
Yes. So where did we get all of this misconception from? I mean, how did we grow up into a society, or how did we come to these conclusions from these people who are in the know?
Well, I'll tell you, it's just ignorance keeps multiplying, and every generation just kind of goes further and further astray because they pick up new prejudice. Look just go back 100 years. Well, people were not eating that good, but also they were eating whole foods. They were cooking very little. But now come to our times, and they're cooking a lot. Matter of fact, they're eating practically everything cooked. They have now learned how to process foods. They have learned how to remove all the nutrients from the food, and they learned that nutrients are important, so now they take it out of pills. I mean, people become more and more confused. And how it happens is, Victor, it has to do with lazy and ignorance and greed. Some people figure they can make some money by putting food, instead of having it spoil. And then they put it in a can and they sell it to you. They're saying, well, it's still there. It's the same thing, except we preserved it.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous to me. I am looking at these people, right? They need, somebody go to the doctor and the doctor say you need vitamin C. And there is so much oranges and grapefruit on the street. But they will go into a pharmacy. These guys extract the vitamin C from the oranges, put it in some little tablets, and sell them back this vitamin C.
Yeah,
and they would prefer to go to the pharmacy and buy 100 tablets of vitamin C than go into the market and buy a dozen orange.
It's very hard to comprehend, but people have lost their connection. People, because of eating dead food, their brains are becoming more dead. And as a result, they're not making decisions. They're making it out of fear. They're just saying, well, the doctor knows because he went through school, the pharmacist knows because he went through school, and they start trusting these people just because they go to school. They're not wise. They just learned a lot of things instead of learning from nature, instead of learning from experience, instead of learning what works. And whereas what they learn is what makes money. And that often has nothing to do with health.
Okay, all right. I'm going to ask this question. Maybe it's very difficult for you to answer. I'm going to ask it. There's two diseases right now that is running rampant in human beings, cancer and AIDS. If the first one, if somebody should come to you and say they have cancer, I was hearing the brethren from the Hippocrates Institute talking about how he goes about dealing with cancer patients. If somebody should come to you at the Institute and say they have cancer, what would you say to them and what would you do to them to alleviate this disease?
First of all, I would celebrate with them that they finally got the message, because they've been living wrong all these years, and now they got the cancer as kind of a official letter from God saying, look, you've been on the wrong track. Now you got a chance. Either get back to where life is, or I'm going to have you come and join me in heaven or hell, wherever the guy or gal is set up to go. So basically, the person, all they have to do is go back to the laws of nature, and primarily the important thing with cancer is that you need to basically alkalize, stop abuse. First step is stop abusing and making the situation worse. And the things that cause cancer is hard, high-protein, heat-treated, and acid-forming foods. The heat-treated protein foods basically end up creating they reduce your ability to breathe. Your oxygen is just not getting around. And if you're eating a lot of acid food, then you kill a lot of your own body, and you basically have your own body parts in your blood circulating, and that also makes it very difficult for oxygen to circulate. And if there is not enough oxygen circulating, then some of your body cells, basically what they do is they turn cancerous when there's not enough oxygen. And these cells, they are very special, these cancer cells, because they act like a vacuum cleaner and sucking up all these protein that is circulating so that normal oxygen can circulate. So what we need to do is stop putting a whole bunch of dead protein into the body and stop acidifying it so it's destroying our own body. So what will happen is we will stop the cause. Now it takes, on an alkaline diet, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to stop any new growth. After that, what you need to do is keep strengthening your immune system so that its white blood cells and macrophages gobble up these cancer cells and destroy them. That's the function of your immune system. It's to make sure that don't have a lot of cancer, don't have a lot of viruses, don't have a lot of bad bacteria, don't have a lot of chemicals. They're the police force inside of your body. But if the police force doesn't have enough bullets, and the bullets are basically enzymes, then it can destroy the cancer cells. It can destroy, especially when a lot of them are being made, because one is basically putting more and more of this protein, and the body keeps trying to figure out ways to hide this stuff because it's clogging up its plumbing. So basically the cancer cells move this stuff out of circulation so that you could have circulation. As they say, life is in the blood. And if you have your blood not working properly, not getting around everywhere, then you're not removing toxins and you're not delivering oxygen and nutrients. So it's very important. The whole idea is body to once it stop the abuse and then provide lots of enzymes which will act as bullets for your immune system that will be destroying the cancer cells, and these cancer cells will be broken down to basically proteins and amino acids that your body will either excrete, spill it out, or it will use it as nutritional food to be building new healthy tissues, whichever way the body decides that is appropriate. So basically cancer, if you're talking about leukemia, well, basically in a period of 6 to 8 weeks, leukemia will be made no more, but because the body is able to heal that rapidly. If you're talking about breast cancer, then the body might take up to 4 months to heal. If you're talking about brain cancer, then it could take up to 8 months to 12 months to heal that, because it's poor circulation. Or if it's in your bone, then it takes 8 to 12 months to heal. But basically, if the person does the nature's path, and it's very important, I cannot overemphasize, most people have too many bad habits, and they are too stupid. Yeah. So that they really need to go to a teacher, like an institute, a health resort somewhere, or to a great healer, someone who you can work with, like here on the island. Yeah. There are many good healers, including Aris, that they can work with them, they can be overlooked, and then they can go through the healing process. Alone, it's not easy to do this because of ignorance.
Yeah, in Jamaica has the largest prostate cancer people.
That's just too much protein stuck. As you grow older, first of all, initially protein stimulates you for a lot of sexual activity and also a lot of ejaculation. When you keep acidifying your body, the strength of your ability to have an ejaculation, ability to have an erection continues diminishing, and all the high protein is clogging up your piping, including the piping that's bringing all the blood to the penis. So as a result, now you don't have the ability or the desire to have much sexual activity. So all this excess protein is starting to rot in the prostate, and it's causing all this prostate problem.
All right, so we were told that fat is what is causing prostate cancer.
Primarily, fat is only a minor contributor. It's the animal protein that is causing the problem.
So what of the people who are not? All right. So
heat-treated people protein who are not of any sort will build it in, but animal protein is the highest contributor. It's excess consumption of heat-treated protein that's really behind cancer. It doesn't matter what kind, prostate, breast cancer, you name it. They're all similarly related. It has to do with the mechanism that it shuts down reduces radically your ability to move oxygen around, and the cancer cells come about. No matter where they develop to help your body to get rid of all this circulatory indigested protein, which is reducing your ability to breathe.
I don't know if Iris can answer this, but Iris,
yes.
I don't know if you hear about this, but in Jamaica, right, we have the largest cases of prostate cancer, but because of the fat that is causing it, and they are attributing it to ackee and avocado. They are saying Jamaican men. I'm reading this in the paper that Jamaican men eat too much ackee and avocado.
No, they eat too much coconut fat, too much grease of all sorts.
As a matter of fact, avocado reduces, cholesterol. And, you know, there's a lot of fat in the meat that we eat here in Jamaica.
But cholesterol is only found in meat, right? I mean,
cholesterol is only found in animal products.
Yeah, you don't find it in a vegetable. But but we are fed this. We, to the point where I love ackee so much that I'm starting to get fearful, and I think fear is part of the whole thing too. People saying that you don't hear them say, yeah, eat too much ackee and avocado. Prostate cancer, because the fat is the intake of fat that is causing prostate cancer in the men in Jamaica.
So what about the fat in the bacon and the pork and the chicken and all them things there?
So Victor is saying is the excess is protein.
Far from it. They have more fat than protein. But they talk about it as a source of protein, but actually the fat content is higher than it is the protein.
Yeah, but no, you are saying that it is not the fat that is causing the cancer,
it's
the protein.
It's a combination of both, fat and protein. Both of them mess around. Fat causes your red blood cells to start sticking together, and you can't get the oxygen throughout your system to circulate. Protein basically displaces, or in other words, it disables your ability to carry oxygen around. Red blood cells is where, and hemoglobin is where the oxygen is at. If you've got 4, 10, 20 red blood cells sticking to one another, they can't get into the fine capillaries. As a result, it just sits around. Yeah. So fat causes it. Problems with oxygen circulation because it makes the vessels, the vehicles, the cars that carry the oxygen basically stuck, and the protein stops enabling the oxygen to get around in your system within the blood itself.
So all right, so I'm here talking about oxygen, the intake of oxygen. You're saying that the less oxygen is the more you increase your chances of being cancerous.
Not only cancerous, but also having mental problems and having every energy problems. Basically, you're moving into an anemic condition, and your whole energy is driven by oxygen. The less oxygen you're circulating, the less energy you're going to have, because all your chemistry is driven by oxygen.
So how we develop this oxygen intake? How do we get this oxygen intake? Apart from just breathing every day. I mean, sometimes you're breathing and you're not even getting oxygen. You're getting carbon dioxide and all these things. Or we develop this more oxygen that our body need?
Well, just first of all, doing a lot of coconut water and fresh fruits and vegetables, and also doing deep breathing so that you exhale fully, pushing your belly button all the way to the back spine, really pushing, like compressing it, and then inhale and make the belly just pop right out. Blow it up like a balloon, filling up your stomach, then fill up your rib cage, and then pull your shoulders back. Inhale deeply. Now you got your whole body filled up with oxygen as much as you can handle, and then hold it for like a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then exhale it slowly. That way you get tremendous amount of oxygen absorption. This is what they teach in yoga, and basically all athletes have a great appreciation because they try to build up before any kind of a highly competitive event. They try to build up a lot of oxygen so they can either dive deeper or stay underwater and swim faster by conserving oxygen, by having built up oxygen reserves.
All right. A lot of people, for instance, in the morning, when people is having breakfast, I am telling people on this program that it's really unnecessary to eat 3 times a day. It's not good to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is something that we are conditioned to do, which don't show any purpose really. But in the morning, when people do this thing, they have, for instance, they will have a cup of tea, and they're having bread, and they're eating the bread, and they're drinking the tea. In the afternoon, they're having their lunch, and they're eating maybe the tofu and the rice and peas, and they have a glass of juice beside them. So they eat, so they drink. In the evening, they're having the dinner, and they're having maybe gluten and thing, and they're having this tall glass of lemonade beside them. And so they're eating, they're drinking, they're eating, they're drinking. And we understand that eating and drinking is a no-no. Could you explain to Jamaica, and for those of you who is listening, why would
I think the best way as far as eating and drinking is to eat little to satisfy your hunger and eat as many times as you need to. That way, your digestion is never stressed, so that having a piece of fruit for breakfast and maybe a cup of tea, if that be the case, hey, that could last you for about an hour and a half too. Then have another piece of fruit or some salad, or have some sugarcane juice, and that'll last you for another hour. This way, you never stress your digestive ability. Or just drink some water if you're trying to lose weight. Hey, you drink some water, your hunger is gone, and what you're really craving is some liquid to keep your body fluids moving and waste being excreted out of your body. But the best approach as far as meals is basically small meals spaced throughout the day. That's what athletes do, the ones that are really into building and high performance, is small meals and, 5 to 6 times a day. Those who eat large meals, they basically put a tremendous stress on their digestive ability. Even if they eat only one big meal a day, that could hang around you a long time and putting a tremendous stress, and mental clarity and physical energy is going to be locked up in the digestive
I think what I'm asking
let me answer that.
Is the combination of eating and drinking.
Yeah.
Like people is eating and they are drinking at the same time. I think that is what I'm asking.
Yeah. One of the things about eating and drinking at the same time is that when you are eating solid food and you have liquid in there, your body now have to extract the liquid from that food. Ideally, you want to drink at least a half hour before you eat, because the liquids are going to get absorbed immediately within the system with no challenge. But when you're doing like the same, like when you're taking that bread and you soak it inside the tea, your body now has to extract that tea out of that bread. You're giving the body extra work.
Yes.
But one of the biggest challenge though is that we go through all these education systems and we don't really get to know nothing about human nature. We don't know how the body functions. When it comes to deciding what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, they never teach us any of these things. If you observe the human body and look at us during one day, you can divide our day safely into 3 equal parts. The most critical part is when you're sleeping. During those 8 hours of sleep, you're actually fasting. And what the body is doing, it is breaking down the dead cells and building up the new ones. The second phase of your day is elimination. The next 8 hours after you wake up should be focused on elimination. So the food that you put into your system should be food that's going to allow the body to eliminate, because all that waste that you release at night now has to be moved out of the system. So ideally, what you want to do when you first get up, of course, you want to have liquid. But the best liquid to have is live, fresh juices, water, fruits, because what you want to do in the morning now is take an internal shower. The same way you take an external shower, you need to wash yourself out inside. You need to flush out. You need to come in there and pour some coconut water in there, some juice, and yeah, because see what you're doing now, well, first of all, the English language, it tells you the first meal is the breakfast meal. So you know you've been fasting. And when you're fasting, your stomach shrink. The whole night. And your stomach shrink. Your stomach gets small. The size of your stomach is the size of your fist. Ball up your fist and put it where your stomach is. That's the natural size of your stomach. So when you open up this bag in the morning and you come in there with starch, yeah, so what you have to understand now is that all the waste that was released in your system at night is floating around in the bloodstream. It's down in the colon. It's looking to be moved up. But when you come in there with starch, with bread, you're coming in with cement, with glue. You're pushing this thing back down into the cells. Yeah. And you have to make sure it not come out, because you ain't glue it down now with all that starch. Instead of taking that internal shower and then coming in with a broom with some fresh pineapple, some papaya, and sweep it out. Now, the third phase of your day is the intake. For the next 8 hours between lunch and dinner, the next 8 hours is when you put it in the raw material. So now, to decide on those meals, you have to decide, well, the best things to eat for lunch will be focused around protein, because the body needs some extra time to break the protein down. So your pear, your coconut, your nuts, your seeds, the best sources of protein on a vegetarian diet. You focus your dinner, your lunch around that. No starches, and you supplement that with either fruits or vegetables. Then for your dinner, you come in with your starch now, and the starch you back that up with the vegetables, rating your protein and from your starch now.
And it's really desirable to have a whole food source for starch. So if you're having starch, don't have pasta or spaghetti. No, instead have whole grains or whole legumes.
And here in Jamaica, we have to be careful with the root starch. All them root things, the yams, and the yucca especially. Boy, you take a yucca and you juice it. Nothing come out. No water come out. It's just starch. It's the only food in the world.
What?
When I juice it, no juice come out.
What is that?
The cassava.
Okay.
The thing that you take and make bami.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just nothing but starch.
Yes, definitely. Because when it's settled, it's stiff.
It get hard.
That is what they use and make starch.
Yeah, man.
It's cassava starch they use and make starch.
But even your other root vegetable, like your Irish potato, you juice that potato and let it sit in a glass for about 2 hours. You see the starch settle at the bottom, thick and hard. You put your finger through there, boy, you can't even move it. You can't just put it up on the wall and paste up your paper and write on it. And that's what you do inside your system. It settle in there, it get hard, and it glue it up.
But you know, I am watching people eating white flour, and I am remember when I was a youth, we used to take white flour and make paste of posters per wall.
That's why it is.
So I am saying now, if you use flour to use as paste of posters per wall, can you imagine when you eat a flour dumpling? What it a do? How much paste a go on like your system there, sir?
You're pasting up your arteries.
Yes.
Clogging them up.
Clogging up your column.
Shutting them down. And now the blood has to be pumped through there with more pressure from the heart. So your blood pressure gets high. Because it's working hard to push through the blood through them arteries that is clogged up with white flour and potatoes and yam and all them things.
Viktorat.
Yes, sir.
We know that you have been doing like a 2-hour marathon at SIPTA. And now we have you here. I don't know if you want to go on, but you know, I mean, you can't tell when to stop, you know, because Jamaican people is listening, and we don't know if you're getting tired here or if you want to.
I have to get up early, so I'm actually looking at checking out. Listen, it's been totally joy, and I'm learning so much from Aris. I mean, he's the most brilliant naturalist. He makes things so clear, even to myself, who I've been around him for like forever.
The teacher getting started.
Sharper and sharper. I don't know where to get this. It must be the jungle.
Well, it's the live food. I don't have any starch on my brain, man.
No starch
my brain is not starch stiff.
He's clear. I mean, great teacher. You guys are lucky here in Jamaica.
Yes.
Well, good night.
Viktorat, I want to give thanks. Give thanks for being here, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Iris?
Yeah, man.
Hold on there, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Iris is there, man. Iris gone? Hold on there. Wow, we get... I want if the operator list, we can get back Iris on his phone now for me. The first caller, Iris. What we call live foods, raw foods, and we have the expert here talking. We don't want no greater experts than what we have here. Iris.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, we're there with you still. You
yes,
know?
sir.
Brethren, him gone, Victor gone.
Yeah, Victor gone, man.
All right.
Yeah.
We was talking a while ago about the clogging up and the things that people that in the morning them need these things and them belch and them feel good, them say. But yet now, later down, because people listening to us now might say, but my grandmother used to eat this thing. I never seen nothing wrong with her. And, you know, we have to realize now, say, the food at that time is a different food we are eating so now. And even, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, the food where we are eating right now is so fast that them start to call it fast food.
Yes.
You know, and the genetic building up now and the chicken pills and all these things, a totally different thing. Plus the energy in our grandparents. They used to use up more energy. They never used to have no big car and flashy car drive around the place. They used to have to ride horse.
Yes.
And donkey and mule and you know, so there was more energy. Even though you eat the wrong food, but you didn't use it up.
Yeah, and them was out there on the farm themselves.
Yeah.
Man, not farm no more, you know.
No, them farm full.
Yeah, and the chicken my grandmother used to eat, come out from my grandfather chicken coop.
Yeah, not incubators.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this chicken now, what them do now is incubator things. So it's not really chicken again. Yeah. So all right now. So we're talking about the raw food vibes now. And we say in Jamaica, to me, it's more practical in Jamaica. But Jamaican people might find say it's not more practical. But the reality of it is that, and I talk from experience now, when you eat raw foods, you eat less and you use less food. So your market bill, and I guarantee you that, because I know that if you buy a pound of carrot and a pound of cabbage, when you cook a pound of cabbage, when you make a salad, you use less cabbage. This is a reality. And you get more out of the cabbage by just shredding it than when you cook it. So ecologically, we are talking about ecologically now, we are talking about health-wise now, and we are talking about saving money. Because a lot of people might say, this thing is for rich people. I mean, why most of the on the radio now, I talk about raw food now, which why you get money to buy all of them food. But you don't have to buy all of these food, because the same food you usually buy. It's just that now, you're going to make what you used to use as your side dish, your main dish. Because in Jamaica, we have this salad on the side. But we need to make the salad be the main dish. And you'll find to see how the money, your expense go down. Vegetarian thing only get expensive when you start to go into tablets. And a lot of what you call now other side things. But naturally going into the market itself, the same place that you usually go, in the market, Coronation, any market where you're there, you buy the same vegetables, the same carrot, cucumber, lettuce, tomato, onion, garlic, and you'll be trying to know that when you go home and you prepare this food, how far the food go when you don't eat. And you can see it too. You can see it. You have a pound of cabbage, and when you cut up the cabbage, it look enough. And by the time you eat it just shrink. And you feel like the boy now go circulate. But if you shred that cabbage and put it in a plate, you see how much cabbage in there. Same thing carrot. People don't drink carrot juice again. People drink tin juice where them claim says carrot juice, not carrot. You know, see? So it's one of the things that we need to emphasize, that even within our spirituality, we need our sound body. Because the temple of God, as called to people, is not the building made of wood and stone, but the temple is your body. And you need now to deal with your structure, because a sound mind in a sound body, you know, and a sound body in a sound mind is really the perfect man. Is that we need to analyze, and that need to really tell the people. Less sickness. Less sickness. How will you stress is so happening? Aris,
yeah, man.
Would you say that social upheavals also can be linked with wrong diet?
Yeah, well, you know, so what's going on, when you're eating the wrong foods, you're intoxicating the body. You're filling it up with toxins. And as you pollute the system, it's going to circulate in the brain. It irritates the brain, makes you very edgy, you know, makes you very greedy, makes you very nervous, you know, so you get on a defensive mode of living. But I find now, in eating raw foods, my mind is clear. My spirit is at peace, you know.
You spend 8 hours asleep, and then you wake up tired. And the wickedest one at me here.
So when you wake up in the morning, you're really at your best. You're supposed to be at your best. You're
yes,
supposed
ready
to
for
be
the
sharp
year.
and
Ready
clear.
for the year, yes.
And that's why the people you work for, them want you first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Them want the best out of you. When you go to school, them want you first thing in the morning.
And the
they want the best of your mind.
Can you imagine? We are sleeping 8 hours in the night and wake up tired. Especially on Mondays.
True.
Especially on Mondays. People don't want to work on Mondays, you know. They'll say, never on Monday. I would never on Sunday. Never on Monday. So we are talking about the juices.
Yeah.
You know, I out of all of the ones I sit down there, you was the one who really work mostly with fruits. I noticed that.
Yeah.
That you use a lot of fruits. Even in the pies.
Yes.
And even in your preparation of those normal everyday food. I see you use like you have this thing where they taste like fish. You use the the jackfruit.
Yeah, man.
What we call it again?
We use the marinated jackfruit, the green jackfruit, when it's turning.
Yes.
We call it tree fish.
Yes.
We chop up the green turn jackfruit and we season it with some lime and olive oil. We put about 3-4 different seaweed in it.
Yes.
Some onion, garlic, bell pepper, and we give it the vibration of the ocean.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
So when you eat seafood and them thing, them know the flesh kind, not the vegetable seafood. When you eat the flesh kind, them thing them rot in your system quick. You leave a piece of fish overnight on your counter.
Yes.
The next morning the fish rotting.
Hold your hands.
Yeah. The same thing though. You put a fish inside your belly, even if it's cooked. You put a cooked fish inside your belly. Your system is dark, warm, moist.
Yeah, but why would a man want to eat something with eye look on him? You know, I don't.
Please. And you know, fish is the greatest cause of body odor, man.
Fish.
Yeah, man. Because it's rotting in the system before it come out.
Yeah. All right. I am getting this vibe from just experience that the best vegetables to eat now is sea vegetables. Well, because that is the less contaminated of the vegetables in terms of the genetic thing, in terms of the, you know, the ground pollution, the fertilizer. I am getting this feeling that kelp and dulse and waka. Or did I say that?
Well, I like to use it as to enhance the land vegetables. Because you see, man has ripped up the land, you know, trying to raise cows, tear down all the trees. So a lot of the best topsoil has been eroded into the ocean. So your sea vegetables now, them full of minerals, rich, trace minerals that you'll never find in land vegetables. So I use it as to enhance the land vegetable, but I would not, you know, use it instead of, you know, my callaloo.
Yeah, no, and I'm saying use it instead of. I'm just saying that I am getting this feeling that I would prefer right now to feed on sea vegetables than land vegetables, because the land vegetables to me is so full of fertilizer, it's so full of, you know, genetic building, you know, them still don't reach the bottom of the ocean yet to destroy that.
Yeah, man, that's true.
You know, I am getting this feeling, and it's the fish them is really having the problems with man, not the vegetables in the sea.
True.
Because man is polluting the sea so much right now. You know, I think if it wasn't for the vegetables in the sea, you know, it's almost like the vegetable is keeping the ocean. The ocean.
Yes.
You know, not the fish. You know, the fish now is being killed. Man, take the fish and carry it, go up on the land now and just destroy it. You know, well, it's a serious thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we want to give thanks for the reasoning from the brethren, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, one thing that I always love to share with people, and I think it's important that I share this here in Jamaica, because, first of all, fire itself, it's only been 100,000 years at the most that man has been using fire. And we have been on this planet for at least 1 million years. So there's no question, there's no doubt in anybody's mind as to whether eating raw food is our natural way of life. Because
man used to even eat raw meat.
Yeah. But see, before him had fire, he never had a choice. All him eat was raw for at least 900,000 years. And so now when you come into a situation now like you in Jamaica, and we say we have the herb here that is for the healing of the nation. We take our herb, the ganja I'm talking about,
and burn it.
We burn it. We roll it up in our split, put it up to our mouth, and light it like a torch. What you are doing, you are activating the toxins. Yes, we know the herb is for the healing of nation. It has medicinal qualities, very vital. But when you put fire to it, you bring out the poison. And the poison, the toxins in that herb, when you put it into your lungs, it hits the bloodstream instant. And when that blood circulates in the brain, it irritates the brain cells. It is destroying the brain cells. And this is the sensation that we lay back on and we say, boy, I'm high, me irie. You are creating a toxic irritation on the brain. You are destroying your brain cell. And the body immediately goes into self-defense. It wants that blood off the brain. as quickly as possible and by any means necessary. So you turn to a lot of heavy cooked food, the ground food, the potato, the yam, the banana, the dumpling and all this stuff. Food that is hard to digest. Some people say, boy, when I smoke, me get the munchies. They want to chew on something. Because the body wants to get the blood off the brain. And one of the quickest way to get that blood off the brain is to bring it down to the digestive system, give it something that's heavy on the system, that's hard to digest. Because the body wants to defend those brain cells. Or you might want to go and have some sex. Bring the blood down to your prostate or area or somewhere. Or you want to go run and do something, get physical. But you leave that blood on that brain with that toxins from that herb in it, it's going to fry it. So we have to really, really check these things. You know, even though we know the herb is for the healing of the nation, we should also never forget that fire is for the killing of the nation. Fire kills. It not only kills the herbs, it kills us, it kills everything. Any big temperature above 125 degrees would kill all living entity. Yeah. So we really have to be careful how we use our natural, precious energies that the planet has given to us and destroying it with fire.
In my concept of life and what life has taught me over the years, I think that the most important heat and fire that we have is the sun, and we don't really need no more.
Yes. Yeah, me and man out here talking about more fire.
Yeah.
What more fire you want? You have the sun.
Yeah, the sun is the most important element right now to life.
True.
Without the sun, nothing lives. So I am thinking that the highest level of consciousness would show I that to eat fruits that was kissed by the sun, ripe banana. I don't think a man should I really eat. I mean, I have ate green bananas over years, but I don't think a man should eat a green banana.
It constipates you.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think banana should be ate in this green state because the sun don't get the chance yet to penetrate it and give it that yellow, that strength that it need to go in your system. Because if you notice a green banana and a ripe banana, people don't just go pick a green banana and eat a green banana. But people now, you have to go take and eat again. To eat up this green banana to make it palatable to your structure. When the ripe banana, which was kissed already by the sun, you don't need a next eat again to really digest the banana. So I am saying now, in the wisdom of creation and the wisdom of the universal consciousness here now, the sun did done cook the banana from its green stage to the ripe stage that human beings could have consumed it to make it more palatable and digest into the system. It's the same thing with any fruit where I say, I don't feel say a man should have eat. I mean, people do this, but in my consciousness, and I have been doing it for years, but then now my consciousness show me that I don't see a man should have eat a green breadfruit. Because what happens when you eat green breadfruit is that you have to go get a fire to roast the breadfruit. And people roast breadfruit and actually eat it. And this is one of the national, I would say one of the national dishes of Jamaica, a roast breadfruit. But how much people ever eat a ripe breadfruit? Is the weirdest thing. A whole heap of Jamaican people don't know that the best way and the more you get out of the breadfruit is when the breadfruit is ripe. People don't eat ripe breadfruit in Jamaica because we were brought up and socialized to eat a green breadfruit when it is roast. But the sun kissed the breadfruit. And when the sun kissed the breadfruit, what better time to eat the breadfruit than when the sun kisses it? So in my levels, I am saying now that the sun, which is the source of all energy, and if we accept that the sun is the source of all energy, therefore there must be something that is important to man in ripe fruits on a tree instead of green fruits on a tree. Must be. So we would have said now, within the fruit level, we should have wait till the fruit ripe. The only thing I see people don't take chance with is ackee. People actually wait till the ackee ripe to eat it. But here's the problem with that now. People eat ackee when it ripe, but them still put more fire on the ackee. When the sun did done open the ackee already and get the ackee ready for eat. people now go cook the ackee again and make the ackee less and less nutritional.
Well, you know, Muta, that might be the connection with the ackee now and the prostate cancer.
Yeah, the
it's the
ackee.
cooking.
The cooking
because
ackee.
Once you kill the fat, it can't break down. So, boy, you better eat them ackee them raw.
Yes, that's what I say. You know, years I eat raw ackee and people say I'm a madman, and I give people raw ackee mixed up with certain things, and them I say, wait, ackee na this. And it's when them done eat it and them realize the ackee na it, you know, that them start to say, raw taste. Me never know say ackee can't taste, so. You know, because them don't understand, you know, ignorance is really a hell of a thing, you know. It's just like cayenne pepper, you know, I remember the first time I put cayenne pepper upon a little youth cut. The mother nearly say I'm a madman, you know. I said when I put the cayenne upon the youth cut, and if she realized that the youth now ball out, she said then our pepper and the youth now ball out. I said, that is the power of the cayenne pepper. Because if you do that with a bird pepper, you know. If you do that with a country pepper, what we call country pepper, or a Scotchbonny pepper, you know, the youth going to burn out the daylight out of the youth. But see, the cayenne pepper is such that even though it is hot, but it's not the hotness that really vibrate within your system and your structure. You know, is a chemical, the medicinal properties that unleash itself, even in a external cut. You can put bird pepper on and it don't burn you. Because when we say bird pepper, when we talk about cayenne pepper, we are talking about what Jamaican call bird pepper.
Yes, sir.
You know, and this is not something now where I read in a book. This is something, I not talk about nothing right as or no, where it's book thing. I talk about something where for years I experiment with myself, and I go through with all my family, my 2 youth them, and I see my youth them grow up and don't even drink milk, don't even eat cheese over the years, and them are in them 20s now have picked now, and me no say them get sicker than other pick me. Worse, because people say, boy, you have to give them milk, you know, them are young people, you have to give them milk, lactose and all these things. And they come up over the years and don't drink that. You know, and them is not handicapped, them is not sicker than any other picnic. So, a lot of the things that them socialize within is really all a part of the system and the structure now, to really lessen with ability, with creative ability, with spiritual ability, and with longevity ability. That is really what it is all about. It is all about quickening death rather than experiencing life. You know, and food is all about experiencing life. You know, food is not about why when you don't eat it you feel vexed. You know, when you don't eat it you have chronic disorders and all these things. So we're not talking about the meat eaters now, we're talking to the vegetarians now, because you have to move that step, you have to take that step, you know. Vegetarians have to move from vegetarian to live food, because life bring life, death bring death. It's so it go. It's not an opposite and positive and negative now. It's that life bring life and death bring death. It's so it go. So that is why we bring the brethren them on the program who has experienced this, including myself, who has experienced it, who has gone through so much things to say, yes, eating live food is one of the greatest experience you will ever have, internally and externally, because when you eat live food, as we say, it's almost like you're getting, it's like your body clean itself. You know, it clean. I mean, you know, your stools not have no smell, your wee will not have no color. You know, people feel that yellow are your wee. When your wee yellow, it's so thick, you're sick. Not true, my brethren?
Yeah, man.
Your wee not supposed to yellow. It's supposed to clear like the water where you drink. So from you see your wee yellow, you know, that means that you're doing something wrong, you know. We know that. Out of experience, we know that. You know, but we were socialized to think that everything is alright. And everything is not alright, because when we look on the society today, the crime and violence that is going on, when we look on the diseases that is flooding the nation right now, all of them going back is linked to what we used to eat, what our grandparents eat, and what through pregnancy come up to us, because this is not just we know, you know, this is what our parents used to eat come into us, because it's what my parents used to eat make me, whether you want to accept that or not. So the bad eating habits of the past has caused the sickness that is here and the present. That is what it is. The bad eating habits of the past has caused the sickness of the present. So On the cutting edge now, we are declaring and we are saying to the Jamaican people that it's time we take a stand and take a check of what we're eating and what we're drinking. Because when we look at the society today, you cannot tell me that this food that is going around the place is making the society. Ecologically, it is not proper. Physically, we see what the destruction of it. Mentally, we see what it's causing. Schizophrenia, you know what I mean? Bad people. I mean, it's just getting weird. It's just getting weird. So we need all a man like Aris. You know, we don't know, Minister of Health. You know, the Ministry of Health. What is the Ministry of Health purpose? What is the Ministry of Health purpose? Because it's named Health. Not so Aris?
Yeah, man.
So what is health supposed to be doing? Health is supposed to be healthy, keeping the people healthy. But instead, them bringing in this, them bringing in that, them bringing in machines, them want to build more hospitals, bringing more hospitals and not curing the people. There's no cure that is happening now, more tablets than ever. Even in the health food store. The health food store, them now come like junk food store. You ever notice that, Regine?
Yeah, man, you know, see, we're going backwards here in Jamaica, man, trying to follow them old thing them. Everything you need right here.
Right here.
Them
right.
Supplements, vitamin this and all
Vitamin
these new
that
thing
and,
them.
yeah.
Boy, them thing will wipe you out, man. You need food, and you have the food right here. You don't have to go broad for nothing. So when a man like me come here now, I come here to work with what's here. I don't come here to import anything from America or anywhere else. I come to live off of what is on this land and share with you the knowledge as to how to take what you have and just use it in a very helpful way. And this way, believe me, you can forget about the doctor in your life.
And we are asked the government now, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with we showing the people, say, look here now. You see these only for importations of this and that. There is so much herbs in Jamaica that we don't even start to tap into yet, you know. Just on the road alone. If you walk in a certain hills, even dry hills, if you walk a Sterling Castle, Red Hills, where dry, you see certain herbs, leaf alive, you know, comfrey, you know, all of these herbs that we grandmothers used to know. We move away from this. And these multinational corporations take these same herbs, wrap it up in a little capsule and a little tube and sell us back as vitamin tablets. What is the purpose of vitamin tablets? The purpose of vitamin tablets is to make foreign-owned companies get richer and you spending money and still sick and feel that it is helping you. It's a serious thing. We was mentioning macrobiotic diet. Tell the people of Jamaica what is a macrobiotic diet and tell people why is it not really the best diet to deal with.
But the macrobiotic diet, it goes back to an ancient Japanese tradition. And one of the things, first of all, you must study the Japanese man and his business practice. When them come and export the macrobiotic diet to the rest of the world, it's the same like him sending you a deportee or some other Japanese export. Him is a businessman.
Definitely.
Him now going to tell you come buy your fruits that you have here in Jamaica. But first of all, look at Japan. Japan does not have an agriculture. Japan cannot grow fruits. You try to buy a melon in Japan. What? So these people know, being wise businessmen and being backed by a consortium of Japanese banks, they export what they have, and they develop a program now that they teach people that eating brown rice and beans and seaweed and all these things, everything full of salt, is the way to go, because this is all they have to sell you in the way of food.
I don't cut you. I must tell the people that when you eat seaweed, you must make sure you soak it too.
All the time.
Yeah, make sure you soak the
all
seaweed.
All the time.
Yeah, yeah, that is something where I make sure I do when I use seaweed. I make sure I soak it.
So the macrobiotic diet now telling you can't eat fruit. What kind of diet that will tell me I can't eat fruit? And all these fruits grow here about my yard. And I must import things from Japan instead of eating my fruit.
All right, the macrobiotic diet is telling you that you must eat fruits. Why is it called not to eat fruit?
Well, the biggest thing is the food combination issue.
Yes.
Earlier we was talking about combining fruit and starches, fruit and carbohydrates. The macrobiotic diet is centered around brown rice, carbohydrate, and for the amount of rice that them eat.
A Chinaman thing, man.
Yeah, man.
Direct to Chinaman.
Yeah, the amount of rice that them eat. Boy, sure, you eat some fruits with that, it's going to ferment.
Definitely.
Even a day later. But look at us, man. Look at the beautiful land that we come from. Even a place like, say, for example, South Africa. South Africa, you coming from a land where the fruits are growing on mineral-rich soil. Fruits that are grown on diamonds and gold, loaded with minerals. As a matter of fact, South Africa today have more fruitarians than any place else in the world. And
South Africa.
South Africa. But most of those fruitarians, you know who they are?
Yeah.
The Boers, the Afrikaans.
Yes.
Yes.
South Africa have more fruitarians in the world than anywhere else.
That's right. And they're the Afrikaans, the Boers.
Yes.
They have studied these things. They know it. But they're living on the land that produces the best fruits in the world.
Yes, definitely.
And the interesting thing about South Africa is that it grows not only the tropical fruits, but the temperate fruits.
Yes.
So you can get strawberry and grapes up in the hills.
Definitely.
And you can get pineapple and mango down by the Cape.
Yeah, I've experienced that. I have personally, you see, that's why I love experience, you know, because it's experience and to teach wisdom. And it's what you just said a while ago. I experienced that in South Africa, that you have, as a matter of fact, you know, there was a time when South Africa used to, South Africa come like the America of Africa, you know, because there's so much things that is there. But the white people, them, as you said, the Boers, them understand this thing, and because them keep the blacks them in subjugation, that the blacks them don't have the time to study and analyze this way of life. So that is why you could say what you just said a while ago, that even though fruitarianism is big in South Africa, it's mostly amongst the white South Africans, which is very serious. And look, I mean I go Ethiopia. I haven't go Ethiopia. I go to the Cameroon's Rasta. I have never in my life seen so much food anywhere in the world where I go, where it's just dead, just fresh and just dead. I mean, we go to Europe, you know, I would say vegetable in a market. But boss, you see the carrot them and the garden egg them and sour sap and them thing the way I say in a Cameroon Rasta. I say, right, them say Africa now, no food Rasta. What is happening?
Well, see what they've done. They've teach Africans that fruits are not food. You eat the yam and the fufu and the kenke and them things. And send us the fruit. Send the fruit for Europe. The same thing them do right here. Because the banana country them here. We sending our banana to Europe and we're not eating the banana them here.
Yeah, great. Listen to me, man.
Come on.
Jamaican thing. Jamaica, if you put a salad, a food salad in front of Jamaican and said this is yours, them said they were the food there. I saw them think,
I think it's not food.
If you put a food plate, if somebody come at your yard and you say you're gonna carry them to lunch and you put a food plate in front of them, when them done eat the food, they're gonna ask you, so where the food there?
Yeah,
what's the mentality?
Like I say, you go to a certain restaurant and you say, boy, you want some food. All the man come out with some green banana and dumpling and them
yeah, man.
That's food. Mr. Where the fruits? Oh, Mr. You think you want food?
Yeah,
so fruits not food. What's going on here now?
Why, socialization is a relevant thing you read. Them prepare. So we need to get a re-education.
Yeah, and another thing, like say, for example, here now, I'm a juice man. I love drinking my juice. We go to a place and I say, boy, give me a pineapple juice. I want fresh juice. The man give me a glass of juice. I said, where this juice not fresh? I want fresh juice. He said, no, it's fresh. I said, let me see where the juice you juice, the juicer you juice, the juice pan. He said, no, me open this can and put it out of the can. I said, but can juice is not fresh. He said, but me just open it fresh. The boy, the education, man. The education.
He's like a coconut. You take the can like a coconut shell.
Yeah.
Like when you bust a coconut,
yeah,
fresh
just
coconut.
Bust the can so it's fresh.
You bust the can like it's in there the juice come from out of the tree.
Sure, man. You have to wake up, man.
Yeah, well, it's a serious thing. If I go like the cat come off of the tree, so. But you know, I always say this for the program, you know. I used to live in an area in a Potosi district where people used to plant carrot, right? Then plant the carrot, go to the market, sell the carrot, and go to the supermarket and buy a tin of carrot juice. What kind of craziness is that? Them plant carrot, you know. Them don't eat the carrot, you know. But them say, why them not have no money to feed them picnic. But what them do? Them plant the carrot take 6 months to grow. Them go to the market, sit down the whole day, sell the carrot, and then on the Friday evening now them go buy a tin of carrot juice and carry go back in the hill, go feed them picnic with it. So what was wrong with the carrot? It's set for them to plant.
You same carrot.
What a cycle.
Them a juice and sell you back for big money.
Yeah.
And give you water and chemicals and everything in it.
I want to tell the people them this, that I don't know if you share this view with me, Iris, but you cannot make juice from a blender. You have to make juice from a juicer.
Yeah.
It's so it go. Blender don't make juice. Blender blend up all the everything. For instance, people cut up pine and chew in a blender and then take water and chew up on it. That is why it don't come out proper with them. That's why they have to put sugar in there after. Because they're not getting the pine juice, they're getting pine and water. And when it come out now, it's like them show too much water in it, so they have to put sugar in there to sweeten it back. You need to get a juicer to make juice. That is how it go. Blender is to blend up papa, and blender is to blend up banana and vegetable. And the blender is not for blend up pine. You know, it's a serious thing. You know, you can't blend up pine and say you're making pine juice because you're going to have to put water in it. I don't like when I go out to certain Rasta functions and then when I ask a brethren for some pine juice, him bring some water with pine. Not pine with water, but water with pine.
Water with pine.
Yeah, and I tell him, say, but brethren, it's not sweet. Him say, I saw the pine come. I said, no, the pine can't come, so Rasta. It's because you put it in a blender with water. You know, I don't like people make juice and I tell me, say, him throw water in it. It's not juice. It's blend up fruit with water. You know, so we just want to say that to the world because that will eliminate the sugar. Most ones right now, him can't take fruit juice without sugar. And I say now, that is the destructive element now, right now, in the juice them, the sugar. Everywhere you go right now, whether it's Rasta, whether it's men and people or not, you ask a man to make some juice with you, and he start to put sugar in the juice. Why is it that he put the sugar in the juice? You know, I mean, him do have access to cane juice, you know. So when you didn't really see with it and say, well, right now, make it just take the cane juice by itself. But now him start to put sugar in the pine juice, sugar in the carrot juice. Him take a carrot, cut up the carrot, throw in a blender, throw water upon it, throw sugar in it, and then tell you say a carrot juice that. That's not carrot juice, Rasta.
Yeah, me go to a restaurant and order carrot juice and boy, me taste the thing. I said, well, why in this? Condensed milk.
Condemned milk or not condensed milk? Condemned milk we call it.
In a carrot juice.
Yeah, I can't understand the logics. Because a juice, if you say carrot juice, you know, it's the juice of the carrot. If you say pine juice, it's the juice of the pine. Right? Now, granted that what I am saying might be so extreme then. People say extreme, right? But it is not extreme when you really think on the logics of the thing. Because if you look at the logics of the thing now and you say you want some carrot juice, why should you make a carrot juice with carrot, water, sugar, milk? Where the carrot juice there? Because right away now, what taste the carrot juice, the juice, you know? It's like a man who eat food and them throw a whole heap of salt on it. Him don't really know the taste of the food. Him know the taste of the salt. That's why a whole heap of people, when them start to eat the vegetable, them say, Lord God, this a taste bad, so give me some salt, give me some put. Because in palate is not used to the natural order, sequence of things. We have conditioned our palate and our eyes, you know, to really diversify our attention from the reality and the natural order of things into some what them call table salt and all these things. The man, you don't use table salt, Reggie?
No, man, I don't use kind of salt, man.
What kind of salt did I recommend to the people then?
It's best, but when you don't cook your food, you don't need no salt.
Yeah.
We cook the salt out of the food. We cook the sodium flavor out of the food. So the food just bland and tasteless. So you put a little salt to whip on it. But it's best not to use no salt whatsoever. There's no such thing that the body really needs. It's just to whip the palate. But that's because you've killed the food. You've destroyed the natural flavors of the fruit. So I would use lots of fresh herbs. Some dill and basil and oregano.
I find that what substitutes the salt more time is lime juice.
Yeah, man.
That is what I find, like when, like even at the vegetarian vibes, if a man make up a pot of rice, like the rice and peas now, you know, I personally find, say, if you squeeze lime juice on it, you don't miss the salt. I don't know if you've had that experience there yet.
Yeah, well, see, the thing about the lime juice, it cut the sugar. Because that's the same thing, like, so when you do a cane juice and you do some lime in it, it's a whole different reaction. So it's the same thing. When you cook with a little salt now, you're really cutting the sugar taste. You know?
Yes. Well, brethren, I want to say give thanks. Thanks for a moment, because it's a long time we should have do this and we never do it, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, everything at the right time, you know. To know that I have my video and my books and things available to share with the people. Yeah,
well, the sister said that she would make this video available Monday. Because Sunday she was coming to town, so she would have made the video available at the shop Monday. So we hope that she will carry through that. So if you can remind her that she did say that she will make the video available at the shop.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll be in town on Sunday and I'm bringing some in.
All right.
Because I'm going to the brunch there.
Ah, okay. You're going to set up anything for her up there, Ivan?
Yeah, man. Yeah, me I'll fix a nice pie. Some pie and some dishes, man.
Iris, you see from this weekend, I gone back to my raw food, you know. So if I go for that brunch there, the only reason why I go to the brunch there, you know, is because Iris is going to make some pie. You understand?
But anytime I see Muta around the world, boy, I'm going on an instant pie diet.
No, I'm a pie man. No, you're the only man that I say. No, I have tasted other people's pie, and I must say, all your students need to be taught over again. No, them pie, the people are over. But I tell you, man, you have never tasted a pie. If you have never tasted a pie that has not been put in an oven, you need to taste these pies that Iris makes.
Mango berry.
Oh, gosh.
Papaya jackfruit.
Hey, I remember.
Banana coconut cream.
Tell the people then that every time I see you at a festival in Paris, it's right at your stall, me stand up the whole time.
Muta stand by the stall all day.
I remember, boy.
I put on a pie show when I find them thing them know. Yeah. Every time I make a pie, Muta put him name on the pie.
Oh, you mean?
People them vex. Right, they're waiting for the pie and Muta already have him name.
And I don't take one slice, neither. I take the whole tray. The whole tray, you know. So, yeah, man. So Sunday, the pies will be there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Give thanks to that. That is up Swain Spring, 7 Swain Spring. I say the Buddha brunch right there Sunday from 10 o'clock. Brethren, give thanks.
Yes, beloved.
And so what happening tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow we have some photo shoots and them. But big feast still are going on here tomorrow, man. And Friday is the last day over here with the retreat.
Okay.
You know, so we had, you know, over 200 people come from all over the world.
No, man, man. That is a joy to see it, man. It's a joy to see 200 people.
First ever raw food conference like this of this nature. Come right here a yard.
Right in Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. We give thanks to that, and we say, as a matter of fact, I tell you, say, I have been to expos in California, New York, Australia. You know, I have been to expos, but expos showing your machinery and just health food thing. But in terms of raw food, this is the first time I have been anywhere in the world where for 1 week straight, lunch, dinner, breakfast, even appetizers is pure raw, pure live food. It is really a joy. It's like an heaven and earth, man. We give thanks to brethren.
Yes, my brethren.
I see.
All the time.
Yes, about food tonight, and I want to tell the people them that I personally, I give my testimony as a vegetarian for 30 years and experimenting with myself. I know come grow up with an experiment with people, but when I used to live in the hills with my children them, and we grow them a certain way, and I tell you, say, I not tell you nothing where I don't know. I not tell you nothing where I go read and say, boy, I just theory. I say practically where I do, and where I see, and when I feel it. That is what we are talking about. I not talk as no radio announcer, where they on radio and I theorize nothing. Because this is not nothing about theory. When we talk to Aris, Aris is not a theoretical person. Aris not reading a book how to make pie. Aris can make it. Aris can put together dishes. Like myself, I can put together dishes that you would even feel say cook, and it don't cook. And I say to you, we don't talk out of theory as of now. We don't talk out of, you know, hype. And I say, boy, this is what you're supposed to do. We are say, this is what we experience in life. Being vegetarian most of my life, 30 years of my life, I decide say I never eat no flesh. And then we try and make the transition, we experiment, we see how things go, we see how to make tofu, we try to make gluten, we sprout, we do all these things, we cook in the sun, we cook in the oven, we reach at a stage where we just have baked food, you know, we reach at a stage where we just go pure fruits, you know. So we don't talk of a theory. Yeah, so we just want the people to know that. This is the Cutting Edge and IRFM.